You're good. Awesome. Perfect. Well, welcome back to week 4. I didn't scare everybody away here. Or at home. How many do we have at home?
19.
19. Perfect. What's that?
Just a couple.
We've actually been holding steady at between 42 and 47.
And I've got a few people that just had urgent appointments today, so that's the only drop in numbers we're seeing.
There you go. Yeah, and then we found out that some of them that had registered didn't even know what they registered for, which was cool. Be careful about what you sign up for, I guess, is the learning lesson there. And then some people wanted to take the accelerator before they took this, so they chose not to after the first class, which is fine too, right? So they can have the pleasure of coming back and taking this course in, when are we doing the next, February or March? March, yeah. So I try to run it at least twice a year. This year we've done it 3 times. So, and I always add new content, and today is no different. So before we go to the book, and you're going to be very happy and pleased to know, I've made Matt a promise that we're out of here in 2 hours. I said that last week, but there's only actually, if you look at today's workbook, there's only 4 pages, 5 pages today, right? So it's actually it's more of a shock course that I'm going to do for you, shocking you into the reality of what it looks like negotiating your fee and giving it away, right? So that's really the focus of today. And we're going to do some role playing today, and I'm going to ask for some volunteers later on and see who's got the courage to come up here in front of everybody and role play with us. But before I wanted to start today on 2 things. One, I wanted to remind everybody about the big, TREB market release this week. So I've already, I've been doing podcasts for a few of our realtors here that are in the class. So I did a very long one. If you're doing those types of marketing for yourself, the Market Watch should be something you schedule every month. So it comes out every month. And I really encourage you not to just say, hey, prices went up this, went down that. People hear that already. Try to dig into the content and create your own story. As I said, probably in class 1, you want to be the source and voice of real estate information for your audience. Don't let your audience, who are your relationships, go to maybe it's a CVC or another realtor to get that information. You want them to come to you. And I'll just kind of, the highlight that I saw actually here, amongst many, but 2 of them were this. It's crept up a little bit, the listing to sales ratio. So I've looked at that ratio going back to 1998, 1999. And basically what that ratio calculates is the listings that you have on the market versus the sales that happen that month, right? So yes, there's people that cancel or relist and blah, blah, but it's a stable thing because people do that every month, right? Now, I'm not going to tell you I would design the stats on this to send a rocket ship to the moon or something on it, but you're going to be pretty accurate with it. And right now it's still at a very troubling number, but it's crept up a little bit. It's 40.3% of all listings have sold in the month of October. So that means 60%. So 6 out of 10 properties that you're listing did not sell, okay? The healthy number, believe it or not, is around 55 to 65%. That's a healthy number. When we went through our chaotic times, for those of you that were around in 2001, that insane year, and if you go back to other insane moments in our market, you're looking at a ratio of anywhere between 70 to 85. There was 1 month that actually tipped over 100%, which was a statistical anomaly when that happened, but it did happen. That was pre-financial crisis days, which would be 2007, 2008. But we're sitting at 40.3. So last week we talked about listing property, right? Doing listing presentations. It's a very important stat to show, which is third-party driven. It's not you saying that. That's actually the data saying that for you, that selecting the right realtor, the realtor that gets the job done. And here's a little tip for you. Find out what your sales ratio is. Like, how many have you listed 50 properties and sold 48? Well, you're selling high 90 percentile versus the market at 40%. Well, what are you doing differently to obtain a substantially like 50 something plus percent success beyond what the market's delivering, right? Now, you may be sitting here going, Mike, I didn't sell 50 homes. I didn't sell 20 homes. I didn't sell 10. That's fine. Look at our office statistics. And Matt, I believe they can do that through TREB, right? Like you can actually go into signatures, see how many listings we've had versus sales. Is that true? I don't know how to do it. He's the tech guy, but is that true?
I do know how to go in and sort by our listings, but
Okay.
I don't know how to compare that to metrics.
To be able to, okay, the listings we have active that sold versus, sorry, listings that we had that actually sold. Is there no way to,
There's probably a way to get the criteria to that point.
So we'll
because
try and
we
figure
can-
that.
we can sort by brokerage quite easily enough,
yeah.
so we could probably do it.
So it would be a bit of homework, but it'd be able to help you if you don't have that data yourself. Well, you've aligned with the company that actually sells, whatever, we'll say 85% of all listings that Signature sell. If you hire the person coming to the front door, they're only gonna sell it at 40%. Make sense? Sure. And that's on the front page. Front page is basically your dashboard. Everybody know what a dashboard is, right? So it's your dashboard of information, high level stuff. And then this actually one was 27 pages. So from page 1 to the last page, there's all kinds of micro market analysis details. So they'll break it down into all types, detached, semi, towns, condos, condo towns, co-ops, like they go right down into the minutia. You really want to get yourself apprised of all of that. And if you're specifically working in micro markets, which I believe most of us are, right? We're all focusing in on a farm area or a neighborhood or a city. Get to know that marketplace as well as you can. Yeah.
The information I looked at in that report is a little complicated for the normal Joe Smith out there. Now, if you try to explain that with your own words, would you run into some legal issues, or is it?
If you're explaining data points that are contrary to what's been published, sure, you'd have some.
No, but I mean, if like you keep the contents the same, but try to explain it, but you never know when you're gonna make a mistake, explain it something.
So I would, before you explain anything, I would go through what you want to say, right? So that you've read the material, the contents you want to cover with the buyer or the seller, whichever situation you're in. And if you're going to use that content, and if you don't understand it yourself, ask Michael, myself, Darren.
But you can always say, I'm offering my own opinion on this, right?
Not on facts, right? On the fact data, that's driven out of the database of TREB. Like if you want to offer an opinion on what you see next month,
On a trend or something.
sure, that's fine. Like that's your prediction, basically, right? The podcast I did on Wednesday was with the fella that sits here, Shohan, I think is his name. I offered my predictions of what I see happening in the next kind of 6 months of the marketplace, right? So,
Thank you.
and so the last one is the last page too, which is like another kind of dashboard page to look at, and they go back, to 2011 for high level annual sales numbers and sale prices. But I like to look at what happens most recently, right? So you'll see in the statistics a lot of times that they look at year-over-year comparisons, meaning, so in the front page here, they'll compare October 2024 to October 2023. And that's fine, no problem. It says this time last year, this is what was happening versus this time right now current. But from our perspective, I don't believe that is helpful for determining what's going on right now. If you're going to do a comparative market analysis of property, we're looking back the last 60, 90, 110, 20 days, right? Would you agree? Not 12 months ago, right? That data is stale, right? That's the milk you put in your fridge and it turns into cottage cheese. So we want to know what's going on right now. So if you want to know what's going on right now, just in sales, which is kind of interesting, if you went end of September 2024, so we're talking, a month and a half ago, to the end of October, sales jumped up by 32%. So when you first started with me a month ago, was I not saying to you there is an opportunity here for buyers, smart buyers, to get into the marketplace, because this is now going to pivot, not in an immense way, although 32% is a big number, right? That there's 32% more sales month to month. I believe that's a big number. Prices have marginally gone up a few percent. So no actual jump in prices. So it still tells me that buyers have this opportunity out there, smart buyers. And so if you're stalled with buyers, there's where you want to show them, hey folks, there's been 32% more sales on the market month to month, not year over year. Year over year, that statistic was 44%, right? Again, I don't care about that statistic. I want to know what happened recently. That makes sense, right? Okay, so when you're doing your 32 to 36 contacts, 12 of those in a year can be accomplished by using the Trev Market Watch. Highly, highly recommend it. So that's one. Number two, before we get into the class, this morning I stumbled across a brand new lawsuit that just got published. Okay, and so the way I like to kind of coach and teach with you is, yes, I'll give you the content, but I want to give you current events of what's going on. And this, to me, was a shocking case to read. Happened right in our backyard in Brampton. It happened 3 streets away from me, Indy.
Why is everything at Brampton?
All roads lead to Brampton. Isn't that what we see on the side? Right? Okay, so this just got published. I just read it this morning, and I'm absolutely fascinated by it. And what we're gonna do, Matt's actually you downloaded the CanLi for me, or you printed the CanLi out, but we'll download it and we'll distribute it through the network here for you guys. And you can read it, and I'll tell you after where you can read it. So I want to just kind of do an experiment here with you to see where your thoughts are on where this case should have been judged. Okay. So the property was sold back in 2022. Where was the, just say, it was supposed to close August 2022, and it sold April 2023, 2022. So if you can go back in the time machine and remember back in those days, the Bank of Canada had just made its first rate increase in March. It was like a quarter point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right? And it was, oh, okay, we got some rate increases here. And, you know, the market, though, did not stall. It did not like hit a brick wall. We were still actually doing some business. So this person bought in April 23, 2022, okay. Closing August, end of August 2022. So we know, for those of us that were in that market, we know some things did happen over that course of time. You're probably already going, yeah, they probably played here and maybe the prices came down a bit. And by the way, the purchase price was 2.9 million in April 2022. That was the purchase price. So I'm just going to give you some of the facts of the case. I'm not going to give you the decision of the case. I want you guys to kind of give your opinions on what you think the judge's outcome. Make sense? And fair? Okay. So buyers agreed to purchase a $2.9 million home, later discovered discrepancies in the listings, tax, and square footage information affecting their financing. So it was a firm deal. They must have had, they could have had financing, could have building inspector, but it's a firm deal when they discover these discrepancies. Okay, so put that in your brain. They requested, the buyers, a price reduction and an extension, which the sellers denied, leading to the buyers backing out. Okay. The listing for the property stated that it contained at least 6,900 square feet of living space, approximately 4,800 of which was above ground. The buyers visually confirmed that those dimensions were reasonably accurate, but did not make specific measurements themselves. Okay, so 6,900 is what they're stating. It's a total living space, so they're including, what are they including in that? The listing also stated that the municipal taxes on the properties were $7,297 for 2021, right? Because they would have, in Brampton, you know, we get our interim taxes, right? So the realtor was stating the taxes, the final taxes for 2021, which was approximately for this buyer $600 to $700 more than the buyers were paying on their existing home. So this is what was published, $200. A few weeks before the scheduled completion date, again, now we're talking the end of August, we've seen a market compression down, right? So they're probably not happy about that. After the, a few weeks before scheduled closing date, after the APS was signed, the buyers learned that their mortgage broker from their mortgage broker that they could not obtain financing to buy the property because the municipal taxes were incorrect due to a discrepancy in the property tax, property square footage. The sellers had made renovations. Did they use you, Andy? You were working on my house actually at that time. That's literally when you were doing my house. To the property that they were not brought to the attention of the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, called MPACT. Everybody knows MPACT, right? Okay. MPACT, they may not have had building permits, I think.
Mhm.
They don't say this, but I'm just kind of spitballing. MPACT had relied on the pre-renovation square footage for the property in making the assessment for the tax figure stated in the listing. A correction in the assessment would increase the taxes on the property. Indeed, MPACT subsequently reassessed the property and the property tax became $10,050. So roughly a 30% increase in the property tax. This all happens before closing, okay? Right? Buyers request concessions as tax liability changes. So before we're closing, the buyers through their lawyer request a concession. What do they request? They request a 3-month extension on closing. So they want this thing to now close end of what, December, I guess, right? And they want a $200,000 haircut in the purchase price. So they want from 2.9 to 2.7 because of this $3,000 extra property tax. So we're all tracking so far, right? If you haven't tracked, let me know. No? Yeah. So the buyers, hang on a second. In response, so the buyers want 3 months extension, 200 grand. In response, the sellers countered and proposed the extension of closings to September 16th, 2022. So it's 16 days. We'll give you a couple weeks. Conditional on the buyers paying a further deposit of $25,000 and delivering their mortgage commitment or approval at least 1 week prior to closing. The buyers rejected these conditions and refused to complete the transaction. Okay. Although the sellers eventually resold the property to another buyer for $2.5 million and incurred over $25,000 in carrying costs, the sellers brought an application against the original buyers for forfeiture of the $100,000 deposit and damages for breach of the APS. In response to the application, the buyers claimed that they were entitled to rescind the transaction because the sellers had misrepresented the amount of municipal taxes. They also argued that the sellers had acted in bad faith by refusing to grant an extension to accommodate the buyers' efforts to obtain financing. So those are the facts of the case. What do you think happened? What was the decision of the judge?
Against the seller.
The seller is suing the buyer. Buyers is losing?
I say the
Buyer
seller.
is winning the case.
Put your hand up in room and then that the buyer wins the case. Let's.
So 6, 7.
Hi.
I got 8. Yeah.
This doesn't work, right?
8 in here and so far, 1 at home, 2 at home, 3 at home.
Okay.
So 9 total say buyer. Sorry, 10 total say buyer.
And then what does that leave for the seller wins the case?
I guess over 50.
Let's do it. Yeah.
There you go. 12 here, and I guess everyone who didn't say buyer at home thinks seller. So.
So are we more in the camp that the seller wins the
Oh
case?
yeah.
Okay.
At least double.
Double that, okay. Okay, so here's what happens. The court upheld the seller's position, citing what's called an entire agreement clause that blocked the buyers from relying on listing representations in their legal claims. And we're gonna look at this, which I had never heard of this clause in 30 years. Entire agreement clause. Now you can pull that up now that I've given the answer. Okay? This is crazy. I'm gonna have a conversation with Chris and Jeff that we need to get this clause into our agreements right now. Yeah, because this is really cool.
The Real Estate and Business Brokers Act, we're still using that even though we have justice.
So that's separate. This is a legal claim. It's completely
But
different.
I'm saying it's such a complicated act, even for the most skilled lawyers. They always have a problem.
For Reva and Tressa? Oh, yeah, they're special lawyers.
Crazy.
What am I doing?
Just showing you that's the clause.
Yeah, that's the clause right there, right?
So complicated.
This is, oh, wait, where is it?
Yeah, but right there you circled it. Agreement included in submitted.
Yes, that's right, yeah. That's, I've never heard of this clause before. I've never seen this clause before. And again, I just found this morning and I read, and I knew that the seller was gonna win and prevail. I did not realize that there was also this gonna be part of this metric. And then I asked Matt just before we started, who are the agents? Don't put their names up. I trained one of them.
Oh.
So we're in the wrong course then.
Huh?
Are we in the wrong course?
I trained the agents for the sellers that actually won.
Oh.
When I was a realtor,
The right place.
when I was selling real estate, I was training people on the side, right, for our brokerage. And the one realtor, the principal realtor, I actually partnered on her first like 3 or 4 deals. She was terrified. I said, come on, I'll help you out. I don't, just work together, right? I'm not here to take any commissions or nothing. Like I just out of genuineness of my heart, right? So I've actually brought her on one of my listings and paid her out off of one of my listings to do a lot of the stuff I didn't want to do, like the flyering and all that kind of stuff. So I was shocked to see, like, wow, okay, smart people, they take my classes, but whatever. Okay, so there's that. So this is a thing that I'm going to advocate that we get into our Schedule 8, right? So we'll have this thing in there. And so what happened here? In the case at hand, the buyers did not argue, this is the judge's actual statement here, okay? The buyers did not argue that the misrepresentation concerning the property taxes in the listing was intentional or fraudulent. So they didn't claim that the seller did this on purpose, because that changes everything, okay? Like if you are committing fraud intentionally, you do not pass go and collect $200, you go to jail. We all play Monopoly or have played Monopoly. You know that? Okay. By the way, your errors and omissions insurance as a realtor is not covering a thing called errors and omissions and fraud. So you do not get that benefit, okay? If you're determined by the insurer, right? Because they would have gone to the insurance company. The realtors would have been involved in this case as well, okay? They would have been sued. Everybody gets sued. You don't get like a, pass here, hall pass to get out. Everybody gets sued. They throw everybody against the wall and see what sticks. The insurer would have come down if this was fraudulent and said, sorry, Matt, I'm going to pick on you. Matt, you're a fraudster and you are not getting coverage. So the damages that are being paid out, you're personally liable for those versus your deductible, right? So the first deductible level is $2,500. For the second one, it goes to $5, then it goes to $75 and $10. And then it resets, I think, every 2 or 3 years or something like that, right? Let's not get into cases where you're having to go 25-5. So, okay, we don't want you doing that. We might ask you to leave the company if you're doing that. That might be a business model for you, and we don't want that business model. Okay, so where am I going here? So the application. The buyers argued that they were entitled to rescind the APS on the basis of non-negligent, innocent misrepresentation of the fact that was material to the decision to enter into the transaction, which was the square footage stuff, right? The buyer's position relied on innocent misrepresentation, faced an insurmountable hurdle due to the terms of that. That little statement, which I'm going to call them later today and find out where they got that from. Probably a really good lawyer, and that thing there provided the barrier, the obstacle for the buyers to be able to challenge on that basis, which was really cool. As to whether the sellers had acted in bad faith by failing to accommodate the buyer's request for an extension, because they don't have to. The application judge referred to the governing principles of good faith contractual performance. The duty of good faith does not require that the contracting parties serve each other's interests. However, they may not seek to undermine those interests in bad faith. So you don't have to change because they ask you to change, right? And they made a counteroffer, as we said in the factum, right? Which was kind of interesting. So the court's decision was that the application concluded that the entire agreement clause, that one, in the APS governed the dispute. Since the application judge rejected the buyer's position that the sellers were obligated to accommodate the request for an extension due to the misrepresentations, the sellers did not act in good faith in relying upon the terms of the APS. The application judge therefore decided in favor of the sellers. Lessons to be learned. Here's the lesson learned. Buyers should attempt to independently verify important information in the listing before entering into a binding agreement that contains an entire agreement clause, or ensure that the agreement contains terms that confirm any representation which are of concern. So that would be something like the seller warrants represents the square footage is XYZ. The seller warrants represents the property taxes are XYZ. Those are warranty type of statements, right? While there may be situations where a party is not entitled to rely on an entire agreement clause due to fraud or other misconduct, the courts will certainly consider whether such a clause is a bar to any claims for factual representation that could have been verified before entering into an agreement. Amazing, man. So caveat emptor also, they don't mention that here, but caveat emptor does prevail in these types of things. That means buyer beware, right? That does prevail in our contract law here. But what a fascinating case. I'm glad it came out today. Present to you guys for the first, and we're going to see if we can't get that clause into our schedule later to protect ourselves. As a listing realtor, be very mindful about the information that you're publishing on MLS or publishing in your websites, social media, or feature sheets or anything of that nature, right? I saw 2 hands, 3 hands. We'll go to
Quick
ladies
question.
first.
So, thank you. So is it then the agent job, the buyer agent job, or is it the buyer job to validate that this information is accurate?
So if it's a material fact to the buyer, how am I as the buyer's agent going to determine what a material fact is of a buyer unless the buyer tells me that? You as the buyer's agent have to do what? Learning,
Recommend advice?
ask questions. So be like, hey, if we found out a house maybe was haunted or that somebody committed suicide there, no, don't joke. There's websites that track stigmatized houses.
Yep.
Right? In contract law here in Canada, though, we don't have anything on the book that says stigmatized. Right? There's no court cases for it. But some people, are terrified of living in a home that somebody committed suicide, or there was a murder, or there was a drug operation. Well, drug operation is not stigmatized. That's because that could have actual mold and other types of problems with that cut into the foundation, usually to bypass the gas lines and the water lines. Anybody ever been in a grow up house before? Oh, those of you guys that did.
I read
Feel police. I got some people. No, so you can see, that's you. Don't ever put your hand up on that.
I read one.
Right, yeah, you read. So there's telltale signs of seeing a grow house, right? What would be a telltale sign if you were a realtor walking with a buyer to be able to see if this was a grow up in the past and hadn't? Yes.
You can actually kind of smell some of it.
Not if it's been remediated.
Okay.
Let's pretend this has been remediated.
Electric connections,
Pardon me?
electrical wires.
Okay, but if it's been remediated, they've removed those electrical wires.
Extra ventilation.
Huh?
Extra ventilation.
That could be a possibility, but they may just want extra circulation in their property, right?
A ton of lights in the basement.
That could be, but maybe they like a lot of lights in the house. Come on, where's my contractor? Come on.
So you're saying it's remediated already,
Right,
everything,
but there's some things that they're gonna leave evidence of the remediation.
come to the neighbors.
Well, that's a really, well, the neighbors will talk to you, by the way. Oh, by the way, you just hope it doesn't happen after they bought firm or that they moved in, right? Here's one thing before I got a hand there online, I got it. Google the property that you're gonna be part of, Google. Because if anything bad happened there, there's probably a story online about it, okay? If there's been a murder, suicide, a drug bust, you're gonna see it there. And don't just rely on the first page, go like 5-6 pages deep. There is websites also that you can search for stigmatized properties. And there are properties here in Canada that are on that website. It's an American-based website. Those are ones that have had suicides, murders, and have findings in them, right? There's those. Okay, so go back to the telltale signs.
Sorry, there's a police registry for that?
There, you know what, there was, and I don't know if it still exists, but Peel Region did have one. I don't know if it still exists, so I don't want to say yes or no. But you used to be able to verify online about that. You can call them and see and ask them as well.
I did an offer on those houses, so I did call the city.
Yeah.
And for that particular property, and there were actually people on that street.
Yeah.
So they had the information.
So when you go into a property, remember, they're bypassing some utilities, right? They're gonna bypass water, because when you're growing, let's just say it's marijuana, and you're growing it for selling, not for personal use, because you can sell for personal or grow for personal use, you know, everybody knows that, right? But if you're growing for the manufacture, distribution, and sale of it, then you're doing mass scaled, right? So you're bypassing water, and you're bypassing hydro, and you're bypassing probably gas, right? Because you're using all of these utilities to manufacture this illegal substance at a scaled level to sell. So if you're bypassing water, or you're bypassing the readers, the meters, they're typically, you know, breaking into the foundation, right? So when you're in those areas, you want to look, is the foundation concrete the same color? Is the ground where the water comes out, is that the same color, or has it been broken by the criminal and then repaired? So if you've got different, that's a very easy telltale way just to kind of, you need to know that. Just to look, pardon me,
Outside. 'cause
inside, inside house.
basement is already finished.
Well, if it's finished,
That's when
then
they fix
they
it,
then
and
they've
that's-
concealed it, and now it's a latent defect that they haven't disclosed. So bigger problem for that. Right. There was an online question.
Basically what you touched on, electrical usage, you can discover that. But also what says, Sherry wants to know, if they hired an inspector, would an inspector be trained to notice?
It could be,
signs too?
but here's the caveat to inspectors, they're non-invasive. You know what that means, right? An inspector can't go and cut through the drywall here, like you said, right? Like, but they're gonna try to, using maybe moisture reader instruments and other types of things, determine whether or not there's extra moisture in the property. Does anybody know in the winter time how you can determine grow up house?
Snow on the roof. There's no snow.
Lack of snow.
Yeah, lack of snow on the roof.
Right, so if you have a house that or you're driving in your neighborhood and everybody's got snow on the roof, like the picture postcard of snow on the house and the roof, and you see a house that doesn't have any snow, chances are they're running a grow up. Or they are reptiles and they need to have like 120 degrees.
Do you remember the big case about that?
There's lots of big cases.
No, the one the major one that they caught, the Molson on the 400.
Oh, yeah.
That was the way they caught it.
Yeah, Molson Park and
Flew
Barrie.
over it.
Yeah, so just so you know,
400,000.
police have airplanes and helicopters that part of their job is flying, and they have infrared, right? And they'll actually look, especially in the farm areas, they will be actually infrareding to see whether or not there's any extra heat sources and things like that, right? Because the farm guys, they don't have to bypass gas and stuff, because they'll bring in diesel and bring in other types of things, right? And farmers buy diesel at a discount. It's dyed red, right? So but that's how they get that. Yeah, no.
Just going back to that case, the one that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, so they did renovations, the
Yeah.
sellers did renovations, so they obviously knew that their square footage increased. So then their taxes would increase, but according to this law, I just want to understand that, because I feel like they definitely did, but there's some gray area in the law where it's like, okay, we can use that clause and kind of get out.
In this case, in this specific case, because there was no misrepresentation or fraud involved, that clause. And then the language used was it was not a hurdle that the buyer could get over. Right, that clause prevented that from happening because there was no malicious intent, there was no fraudulent intent. Right, so yeah, that's why I'm gonna go to Chris and say, I think we need to add this into our Schedule A at the very least. Yes, yeah.
So going back to the entire agreement clause, in other words, can we say that nothing that's written in the agreement has any material impact
No.
on the outcome?
No.
Right?
No.
So the square footage of the tax in this case, because it wasn't there in the agreement, it has no material impact on
Right.
recession.
Correct.
Okay.
You can't contract yourself out of the law, that's what you're getting at, right? Like, you can't go and say something in an agreement that is a legal thing and say, like here, I see a lot of people put in selling as is, where is in the thing. You can't, that's not going to hold up in court. If you, as the listing realtor, is able to determine a material fact of a property or a patent defect of a property or even total latent defect, saying that statement where is as is not getting you off the hook, right?
Does it help in a power of sale situation though?
Power of sale with the bank is one of those entities that gets the contract outside of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so if you're trading power of sales as listing realtors, come and talk to one of the managers first. I did tons of them. I used to be in the 90s. I used to get a lot of the CIBC power sales. My roommate from university was in charge of them, which happened to work out for me. So I know how they work quite extensively. And doing a power sale with a bank is not unlike when you're buying pre-con. When you're buying a pre-con contract, that 12-page, 15-page document, like 14 and a half pages of the 15 pages are all for who? The builder. Right, a power sale, the 14, 15 pages is all for the. Right. Yes. Oh, sorry, you were here.
Sorry.
I had one more, so.
You're only allowed two.
Could the buyers term the misrepresentation in terms of the tax and square footage as fraud? Was that an option?
That if their lawyer and them brought that case, they would have to substantiate that case. So making a claim that you committed fraud, by the way, is not well received by the judge, by the court system. They don't like you making that decision. That's what they get paid for, right? So they did not come and make that claim, right? They did not say that.
And were there no repercussions of them, not going to the city for the necessary permits?
That's
Were they
not what was germane to this case.
right?
This was
That's outside the purview.
correct. Here's the other moral to this story, which you've heard me say before, and if you've been in my office, I always say this on the buy side. Close the property. Get your hands, if it's a financial, in this case it was, like the bank was not going to lend them, but they had firm, right? They had waived the conditions of firm binding agreement. You get your hands on that money legally, right?
Run.
Right? Get your hands on the friends and family or play the lottery a lot. I don't know. You get your money because here's the reality. That buyer, so the delta difference on the purchase price was 2.9 to 2.5. There's 400 grand. There's $100,000 in the deposit. And then there's all kinds of other extraneous costs that would have been assigned to the seller, right? So we're talking over 500 grand. 3 streets away from my house, like literally, right? And I actually know the house now, right? It's crazy. And so close at all costs because this buyer, who knows how this has now affected them financially. This could affect them for the next 10, 20, 30 years. It could bankrupt them from financial anything for the next generation type of thing, right? So close at all costs because here's the reality. They're paying an extra $3,000 in property taxes. This is what they argued for. $3,000. If they live there for 10 years, how much extra is that? 30 grand.
Yeah.
If they live there for 20 years, how many is that? Just on average, 60 grand. They're over $500,000. And there's an interest probably being calculated at the moment that judgment came down. So you don't pay this interest payment and they do a writ of seizure on your other assets. Own the property. The buyers, they take the bitter pill, say, yeah, I'm paying an extra $3,000, but they have property.
Yes.
And the property, yes, it may have come down in value at 2.9 to 2.5 in that moment of dip. In 10 years, where do you think that property is going to be? Maybe 3.5, right? Who knows? If you impute 5-6% on average a year over 10 years, that's 60%. That's conservative. Think I'm even going less than that. You have your house. You have a house. Do not close. If you close and then you go sue that seller for that, okay? Because you got your house. You had a question.
So the basement renovation, whenever you do the basement, you need to let the city know.
Yeah, permits, yeah.
Okay, so if you have a permit with the city, a legal basement permit, the city would automatically calculate the taxes and send to you, or is
Oh,
it a
yeah.
separate?
Yeah, your taxes are going up and around.
Okay.
This is something I could never, I just wanted, before I
Yes.
forget this, because I will forget this, and I've argued with politicians about this all the time. Imagine you're sitting there in your house and you say, I want to improve my property. I want to improve the outside of my property, so I do nice landscaping, I do a nice driveway, nice blah, 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 right? I do outside, and inside I increase, and beautify my property. I get penalized by doing that, by helping to improve my area, my street, my subdivision. I get to pay more tax versus the person that doesn't cut their grass, that doesn't upkeep their property, that has broken this, broken that. They don't get any kind of punishment. They might, a neighbor might say, hey, look, your grass is like it's in Sahara, Africa. Can you go closer, please? Cut it. And they'll have to do that, right? And they might tag a little bit of a penalty on the property tax if they don't do it in the time they're given. But no, you as the good citizen, the good homeowner, get hit with more property taxes.
So my other question is, if you're paying extra property tax, when you put the limit, like your square footage, isn't it misleading? Like, are you allowed to put the basement on the square
So
footage?
they put living space. They use that word.
Living space, but you can't put it when you put the character, it's like whatever your square footage is, you can't add the basement to that, it's only in the writing.
Correct. Yeah. Be very careful and mindful about using square footage, right? Because that is one of those traps that are out there for both sides, buying and selling sides. And if you're selling acreage, there's other traps out there, right? So if you go out there and it says 5 acres, but it turns out to be 4 acres, if it's material germane to the person, it's material fact, buyer, get somebody, hire them to survey the land. Yes, it's 5 acres. Because the fact that, and I actually didn't read that part of the judgment, but the fact that the buyer went in there and saw what they were buying and the size negates them from, any argument there essentially. You walk onto the 5 acres, but it's 4, you walked the property. You accepted what you walked on. If you needed to take it to the next step in the acreage, survey it. In the house, measure it, right? Yes.
I still want to try to find that out for the buyer. Going exactly with what he said about the square footage and the taxes and stuff. If the buyer, they saw that there were renovation and construction done to the house, if they submitted with the offer a clause saying that all improvements must have been approved by the city, would that be an out for them?
Oh, so now the seller's in trouble there, right? Because he's warranting, that's what I said earlier, like if you have a warrant and representative clause from the seller, but the seller accepts, from the buyer, now the onus is on the seller, right? Like the seller's saying, no, don't worry, everything was done properly, I had the permits done, the permits were closed by the city, everything's good, right?
So that would have
That was not there.
Okay.
Remember I said, what's the lessons to be taken away here? The buyer, caveat emptor, the buyer, and you as the buyer's realtor, right? But you have to, on the sell side, make sure that you're putting the right stuff in there too, right? It was a great case, right?
But a lot of basements these days are not legal, like we have a legal basement apartment.
You have an illegal one?
No,
Let's
legal
report our-
basement. We have a legal basement apartment, so I wanted to know like taxes, whatever. But a lot of houses these days have their basement done. So
I
how
bought
do you
it like
protect
this.
yourself if something comes later on, like some neighbor complains that they have so how do you protect
So what
yourself as a
happens
realtor?
Is, you're right, somebody has to complain. And they send in by law enforcement. So we'll use Brett, because that's where I live, right? And who said no?
There's a lot of this.
The agent for the buyer.
I know.
So it's, there's region appeal too, right? Wow. My middle brother is, his first, so he works for region appeal, but he's now in charge of all the, I call him Mr. Garbage Man. He oversees the garbage collection stuff for region appeal. And he's been 20 years with region, but when he first started there, actually probably his second or third promotion job, he went into the street or field and he was a bylaw officer, right? And so he would respond to a bylaw complaint for a neighbor that said, oh yeah, this person's renting the basement and it's illegal. There's like 5 cars here, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna go off on a tangent here, Matt, but I have to. And this is the funniest story ever.
Before you hit the tangent, we're almost at the 1 hour.
Oh my God. I promised you guys an hour. Okay,
That's okay,
shoot.
continue.
But can I tell you this story?
Yeah.
So my brother gets called to, it's a semi-detached property. And the neighbor's complaining that the basement is finished and legally, and they're renting it, blah, blah, blah. Because there's like 5 cars and there should only be 2. And, you know, I'm sure it's not a legal basement apartment. And oh, by the way, the guys must have a hole in his roof because there's all kinds of like noise of animals and stuff in the attic. Right? So if you know, in a semi-detached house, right? Everyone knows what a semi is, right? In the middle.
There's a wall.
What do you call that?
Party wall.
What? It's a dividing wall.
Dividing
What's the technical term for it?
Partition might.
Shared?
Concrete.
Well, it's made of concrete. Pardon me?
Partition.
Firewall.
Party wall. Thank you. It's a firewall. And it's made of concrete, right? So that's in between separated semi-detached. It's also in townhouses they have that, right? Okay. So, you know, can you also tell the guy to fix the damn roof because there's all kinds of raccoons and, you know, whatever else crawling around upstairs and I can hear it at nighttime and it sucks. Okay. So my brother goes over and meets with these people, and sure enough, there's people living in the basement, and they had actually converted the garage into living space too. Someone living.
Make it into a bedroom.
What's that?
Made it into a
Made that
bedroom.
into a bedroom and stuff, and my brother went up on a ladder, didn't see any you know, things in the shingles, right, or like where animals can get in, so he works back, and so this guy has to within a month or 2 change everything back. So he's got to make the garage a garage, he's got to get people out of there, he's got to take all electrical out because they had stoves and stuff that was all not done to code. 'Cause here, when you're doing that stuff, you're handyman special, right? And you're worrying about faulty plumbing, faulty electrical, faulty structural, all this good stuff, right? And they're gonna kill people in the case that there's a fire. And by the way, there was no egress points that satisfied the bylaws. You know what an egress point is? Yeah. Exit. That's a fancy word for it. So you have to have the windows a certain size and stairs out. 2 points of egress. Didn't happen. So that all gets done and everything looks great. A couple months after all that, the same neighbor calls and complains. It's like, yeah, no, there's definitely like raccoons getting into the house and blah, blah, blah. And my brother's like, well, no, it's, I inspected the roof. There's no access points. Everything's secure. No. So my brother goes, okay, well, he goes over to the complainant's house, not the one that fixed it. Because the guy's saying, I'm hearing it above my roof now, right? So did these critters break through and are now over that, right? So my brother goes in and he gets his ladder, his flashlight, climbs up and the attic, rooms in the attic. He pops his head up, pitch dark, and his flashlight, and human beings.
Oh.
They had taken down the firewall and created living space up in the attic on both sides.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens, so.
This is in Brampton, you said, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was over, I think, in the west part of Brampton, Colbert, Chinguacousy area or something like that.
That's crazy. Brampton.
Brampton.
All roads lead to Brampton. Come on. So, can I get going or is it another question?
So
But I thought that was pretty cool, right? Like,
How many
wait,
years ago was
oh God, I was still selling food, so over 17 years ago. Yeah, it was early in his career. Now, like I said, now he runs the waste management collection. That's his, whatever. He gets a pension and all that kind of.
For
good
their
stuff. He
region,
gets vacation.
for their region itself?
Yeah, he's very appeal, yeah. Well, it almost ceased to exist as a region appeal, right? When they were doing
Yeah.
the
We're gonna separate.
But his was one of the ones I thought they thought were gonna keep as a shared resource and policing, right? They weren't gonna break those up. Anyway. Any other questions? So, yeah.
So the firewall goes all the way up to the roof.
Every inch of this and this.
Yeah, so they had. My brother's a big guy. My brother was actually a professional hockey player in Europe, okay? So he's a big jack kid and he was scared. Imagine you're expecting to see a raccoon. He was worried about a raccoon or something and it was human beings in the pitch dark. Because I guess they've been told to like be quiet, turn all the lights off when people are coming in, right? but they were noisy at nighttime. Crazy. Okay, so where are we going?
Brampton.
All roads lead to Brampton. Yeah, it all starts in Brampton, actually, I would say. The whole thing about the building code and safety for tenants and stuff, it was my first or second year, 94-ish or 95, where there was a tragic house fire that killed a mother and her two children in Brampton. And the whole system started to get changed because of that. And so all these rules about egress points and stuff all emanated from that sad situation. Okay, so I told you we would be out of here in an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I got a half an hour to do what I want to do, and half an hour for what I want you guys to do. So we'll do as quick as we can. Today is a shock course, okay? I'm going to shock you into realities, but so it's objection handling at your price and at your terms. And why I want this to be shocking to you is how easily you can go from making a couple $100,000 or more to making half of that by simple decisions you make, easy decisions without even thought in your brain and giving that money away. And I can walk you around this office and pretty much share with you all of our top agents are not doing that. That's why they're making the kind of GCI that they're making, because it's not that they're doing 200 transactions a year or 150, it's that they're maximizing and retaining most of the revenue for the deals that they do. Does that make sense? Okay. So psychology of objection handling. So this is on page, what page are we on, Matt?
57.
Oh, by the way, I want to show you this too. You've got this. This is the only one handout they got, right? So this is the one you got. This is the more modern version. It would have been a handout electronically. You would have had it sent by email by Matt. This morning, he sent this out. This is Mike Ferry. Does anybody know Mike Ferry? He's the father of Tom Ferry. Did everybody go to see Tom Ferry?
I did.
Okay, so Tom Ferry's dad is Mike Ferry. Mike Ferry is in his 80s. Mike Ferry is one of the grandfather trainers of real estate. Not as good as the guy I trained with, who's Floyd Whitman, but they did get along and they competed with each other. Tom Ferry is a very hunter-focused lead generation guy. Remember I taught you the hunter-farmer hybrid? Tom is hybrid, more farmer. The dad is exclusively hunter. This guy is about cold calling, door knocking massively. And so we have a couple of agents that are definite students of Mike Ferry here. They actually still train with him. This was written. When do you think this actually was written? And by the way, has anybody read it? I guess it came in this morning, right? Please read this. When do you think this thing came out? This is the modern version of it.
90s?
1998. That's my 1998 copy right there in my hands. 1998. This one here is the more, it's exactly the same. I looked at it, but I got this in 1998. So what I'm trying to impress upon you is that commission cutting is not a new thing. This is what you kind of build in your brains, like, oh, cutting my commission because of the competition, because of those people of Brampton, giving the money away. That it's new. It's not. I printed my copy in 1998 on the printer at the Royal LePage office I worked out of at the Bramley City Center at 44 Peel Center. That was printed in 1998. It's been a problem as long as I've been in the business, and it will continue to be a problem as long as the real estate sector performs and operates as a business the way it does. Okay, so don't think you're special, that this is all new stuff because of those people up in Brampton. Okay, so the psychology of objection handling, you're going to be on page, I believe, 57. And like I said, there's only 3 or 4 pages of teaching here, and then there's gonna be some fun stuff that we're going to do with you guys. Okay? So, number 1, agree with them. This puts them on the same side as your client prospect. Start with thank you for asking the question. That's just a generic kind of thank you. It's agreeing with them. It's not in a confrontational situation. Thank you for asking the question. And that's for any objection, right? But the 2 biggest ones are going to be what? Your fee. That's the biggest one. And probably the price that you're going to list the property, all right? Number 2, clarify their concern. Okay, so I understand what you're saying is, right? So you want to repeat back to them because maybe you misunderstood it because you're so hyper focused on getting what you want, you miss what they're saying. Okay. Number 3, isolate the issue. Find out if they have more than one issue, because they typically like to, like the American Picker TV show. Unfortunately, one of them died just recently.
Yeah.
They like to bundle. Actually, the guy that died, he's the bundling master. So these guys, when they have these objections, they usually bundle them all together. You want to unpack them, okay? Unpack the objections. Number 4, deal with one issue at a time. So once you've unpacked them, isolate and then deal with that issue one by one. It makes sense, right? Not rocket science. Number 5, build agreement through bridging questions like, and again, I'm just giving you information, whether you use this or not is up to you, but these are good questions to have in your arsenal of questions. Can I make a suggestion? Again, tonality delivery. Does that make sense? How many times do you think I've said, does that make sense to you guys when I'm trying to get you guys to commit and say yes to what I've just said? I say it all the time, all the time. Can I share something with you? Can I share something with you? And that's where you're probably going to want to tell a story, right? About, can I share with you what happened with my client XYZ in this situation? Can I share with you an experience I had when we determined a property was a grow house? Like, can I share something with you? PSA, this is not in your thing. PSA, write those 3 letters down separately. PSA, okay? In teaching, coaching, this is a principle that was taught to me a long time ago. P stands for principle. S stands for, anyone want to guess? Story. And A stands for application. This is how you teach people and coach people. And that's how I teach and coach people, because it was taught to me a very long time ago. You want to establish what the principle is. Today we're talking about commission objections and saving your money. So that's the principle. Create a story around that. So I'm going to get a story, because we remember the stories easier and better than we can the data, right? Like if I just give you data, right, without a story, and the story includes my tonality behavior, my moving around or whatever, it kind of stays with you. And then now an application of that principal story to what you want to learn, right? So PSA, whenever, whether you're with me or all the people you're going to learn stuff with, other trainers that are going to charge you money for what they're going to teach you, I'm free, right? Just remember to try to get across, whether they know it or not, the principal story and application of what you're learning, okay? Can I tell you my concerns, right? So if you have somebody that is wanting to make a decision that is catastrophic for them, right? Let them say, can I tell you what my concerns are, right? Instead of going, Matt, you're crazy. What are you talking about? You want to do that? Are you nuts? That's not a very good way to do it. Even though I did good tonality and delivery, can I make a suggestion, right? Can I share with you what my concerns are? A lot easier, right? Number 6, finish every objection with, do you have any other questions? Look, I just did it today without even knowing it with you. Before we started, do you have any other questions? I want to make sure that you learned and you were happy with whatever I shared with you today, right? So do you have any other questions? And then that's just my little thing, the RAB, repeat, approve, and build. That's my simple format as well. So PSA and RAB are the 2 things that I think about a lot when I'm doing objection handling. Repeat, approve, and build. Principal story application. Principal story application, repeat, approve, build. Okay? Everybody got everything out? If not, you can come back and watch it on YouTube. How are our YouTube watches? Are they good?
Like numbers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
We should take a look. Amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they cannot get it wrong. It's kind of a little statement that I came up with myself. Okay. You like that, right? Amateurs practice until they get it right. Professional practice until they cannot get it wrong. And I always look at the athlete, because that's the world I came from, okay? Look at an athlete that is winning. The team is winning, their success, right? Because that's how they're basically scored, right? It's the outcome that they're really looking at, okay? When an athlete's in the zone and they're winning and they're doing good and they get interviewed after the game, they're all riled up, right? Like they're loving life. When they're in a slump, if it's a hockey guy and they haven't had a goal, it's Sidney Crosby hasn't scored, or Connor McDavid. Sorry, I use hockey stuff. If you guys don't follow hockey, I apologize for that, but those are good hockey players, okay? And if they're not scoring, they're not winning, when they're being interviewed, just feel the negative energy that's coming through. And they're usually, blaming the refs, or they're blaming the ice, or they're like, there's always an external usually source to that, right? Sometimes, God forbid, they blame their coach or they blame their team, which is
Good ones take responsibility.
good ones take, there's very few that do that. Last thing I would say there, how many hours are you spending in your profession? So an NHL level hockey player, for every hour that they're going to be in playing the game, they're spending 2 to 3 to 4 hours in practicing for that game. So let me say that one more time. For every hour that they're playing, they're spending 2 to 3 to 4 hours in practice. Translate that to you. If your game is going to a listing presentation tonight, and if your game for listing presentation is 1 hour, that's the clock that you've given yourself. How many hours do you need to be practicing for that 1 hour tonight? 2, 3, or 4 hours. How many are you practicing for that game? That's your game. That's your Stanley Cup game. You're going to go list a $2 million property tonight. You're going to get 5%. 2.5 is going to go to you. How much money is that, folks? 50 grand. Are you just running to the listing and hoping for the best?
It's a nice vacation.
That you look good, smell good, dressed good, drive a good car, and they're going to list with you? Or have you practiced 2, 3, 4 hours for that listing? Please, I'm impressing upon you, you have to do that kind of stuff. Okay? Because the competition that's going to get that listing, and if you're the first one in, I told you before, you have 66%, 67% chance of getting it. But if you're not practicing at that level, they're not going to list with you, and the guy that is, or girl is going to get it. And you're going to wonder why. You're going to make up excuses, by the way, because we can't take the rejection and the hit ourselves. You're going to say, oh, Matt, he must have cut his commission. He gave it away. It's the only reason. No, maybe Matt was fired up and he was right on target and he got his 5% because he was prepared and he was ready. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. Internalization versus memorization. There's a big difference. What's better, internalization or memorization?
Internalization.
Of course. Of course. Memorization is the guy or girl that's calling you from Brampton, asking you for your ducks to be clean tonight.
Ali? Oh,
I tell them I don't have
God.
ducks, I have Canada Geese. Do you do those? That's one way. Anyways, the person that's memorizing, you can smell it. They're memorizing this. They're reading from a piece of paper. Whereas internalization, it just naturally flows because it's internalized. It's part of who you are. It's like breathing. You don't even have to worry about breathing, do you? Well, some of us maybe, okay? Your heartbeat, unless you have a pacer, your heartbeat's beating on its own, right? Those are the types of things that internalizations are like. All right. Commission pie diagram. Everybody's probably seen this little chart. It's nothing fancy. It's been around forever. And we're going to talk about 5%. We're going to shoot and aim high. Actually, aim high. Does anybody know what aim high was? Anybody that's been a Royal Page should know this for a long time.
Aim for the sky.
Aim higher was the actual tagline for Royal Page when I first started, and it was an archer. My archers shot balloons down too, by the way. They weren't red, white, and blue. They were other colors, but just saying. So we got two portions of the 5%. We all know that, right? So 2.5% goes to who? What's
Seller.
this guy here, right?
Fire.
This is the person bringing in the offer, okay, the buying side. And this is your side, list side. Just go list side. All right. Not going to be complicated and do any, we're just going to agree 5%, half and half, okay? Yes, you could offer an incentive to a cooperating broker in this market because selling properties are hard. You could offer incentive and give them how much? 3 or 3.5%. Because you're marketing to very hungry people, probably, right? Hungry agents that extra half a point, full point is going to drive traffic. So you could do that. But we're going to stick with this. So this is your side as the listing side. I want you to think the listings today, okay? On the objection handling side. Each little chart here, little color thing has some expenses that are imputed into everything that we do. Would you disagree with me that you have business expenses?
Yes.
You do? You disagree with me?
No.
Okay, so you agree you have business expenses. What kind of business expenses are you running? Remember, let's go back to class one. I gave you that like 10-page document to do your budgets from. And there was a bunch of things in there that were business expenses. Who's done their budget, by the way? One guy. Do that.
Gas, paper, internet.
Yeah, because you can
office.
come into my office and say, hey, Mike, what you're saying didn't work. And I say, what did you do? Did you do a budget? Did you do a plan? No. Okay, got a problem. Can't help that problem, okay? Business, what kind of business expenses are you guys running? That's different. Okay, well, you know what? Well, in my budget that I gave you, I did break out marketing, but for this example, we'll go, yes, we'll say marketing's in there. But marketing is something that you can choose, right? It's a discretionary item in a budget. Everybody know what the word discretionary means. You do not have to do it. Most people do not do marketing, by the way, right? We give you a lot of it for free. Again, the podcast room, I should be seeing every one of you, or the media room in there, because you get one long one a month free, or what, 3 or 4 short ones every month for free. Why are you not doing it? Madness. I'd be in that room. I'm actually in the room more than anybody is now, because you're asking me to do podcasts with you. I enjoy it. I don't have to sit at my desk and hear complaints. I get to go in there. No, I'm joking. So what other business expenses? Yeah.
I actually had a question about that podcast room.
Yes.
The recording, is that recording software in there too?
There's like a little, what they call microchip.
It records onto an SD card, we
Yeah.
upload it, give it to design, they modify it.
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
So then you take it to the videographer department, which is in our design department, and they can do, like I said, one long form video or
Okay,
for
perfect.
like 30-second videos or something.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like 30 seconds.
I've seen their output, like for what you're getting for free. Can I remind you, it's free. It's like amazing content and output. They're professionals. These people go to school for that, and their creations are phenomenal. They make me look good, which is a pretty hard thing to do. Okay, so what other business expenses do you do? Sorry, you had a question.
Well, both, I can answer both. So by the way, for the studio, I was just in it this morning, but go outside of it, scan the QR code, it'll show you.
Yeah, exactly. They made it that simple. There's a QR code out there, right? Do it, please do it. Okay, business expenses. Aria, Korea, Treb, those are business expenses. What other expenses? Do you guys have a horse and buggy, or do you have a car?
Car,
Okay.
gas.
Or do you take Uber or
Home office.
you got a home office? Do you guys have phones?
Yep.
Yes.
You have like a Rogers plan or a Bell plan or a five? Okay, you got that. Okay, that's good. Do you guys have, do you guys wear clothes? No, you can't, you can't do that. That's a joke. That was a trick question. You
Lunch-
cannot deduct your clothes or haircuts, just saying.
Lunches,
If they're business
client
related,
business related.
sure. Yeah, those are business expenses. You're gonna sponsor
Events.
a event or a team or something, those are business expenses. Okay. How about this thing?
Ew.
Who pays taxes?
No.
Matt, can you take note of those that didn't raise their hand? They're not paying taxes. I'm reporting you because I pay a lot of them. That's why I pay a lot. Okay, that's not good. Client appreciation, who said that? That was right.
Oh,
That's-
no, she, Raiza says, can you deduct haircuts and clothes if you give them to your clients?
I would talk to an accountant on that. I will not answer that question. If you did a, no, I'm not.
That was a trick question.
There is a way around, but I'm not gonna give you that. That's an accounting. Listen, whenever you're asked something that's outside of your scope and scale, don't answer it. Outsource it to the lawyer, to the accountant. What are you laughing at?
Find a good accountant.
What are you laughing at? I see you laughing at me there, Ricky. So much. So taxes, we gotta pay the man, because it's, there's, Trudeau and Ford. And for me, it's Patrick Brown. If you're in Mississauga, it's the woman for your municipal, okay? So, but you gotta pay the person, the piper. And it sucks to pay taxes. But I will tell you, from the point of view of somebody that's paid way more than I ever want to, right? That we do get benefits out of that. We complain and we gripe and we bitch, I know for sure. But when we need some things and we need it desperately, it's there for us. And I will just share one little quick snip of my family. My daughter went through a major health crisis 2.5 years ago, had 6 brain surgeries. it would have probably put me into generational debt had I had lived in the States if I didn't have insurance.
Yeah.
It was covered through the whole hip. And thinking of now, to get into that part of the care part of the system was a gong show, as some of you know, from my daughter's story personally. But the fact that we had that through our taxation system, you know, I'm a capitalist, I'm a conservative, but I have that social part of me in the healthcare system for sure, and the housing system for sure. A lot of the other stuff I think is a waste of money, but whatever. And then you get this thing called RealtorNet, okay? You got RealtorNet. That's what you're leaving in your pocket, okay? That is this little thing, and I'm just gonna put this one word in here. Why? It's your why. Why am I doing that? It's the RealtorNet. And when you start to give away your fees, that's what you're giving away. You're giving away your why. That's why I'm gonna now shock you. I think that's my next day is the commission activity stuff, right?
Very possibly, yes.
Okay, so because I like science and, you know, I'm like doing stuff, I created with a couple other brokers this commissionectomy thing probably about 12, 13 years ago. And because it's 12 or 13 years ago, the numbers, and that's one of the whys, I wrote that down, right? These are the numbers you're seeing are from 15 years ago. It won't go, Matt. It's not clicking. Okay. So we're saying $400,000 is the average sale in this thing. So you can imagine how long ago I did this, because that was the average sale price. We're sitting now at 1.1+ million. Okay. Yeah, but that's what it was back then. So you change the numbers if you want to look at what this looks like for yourself. And we call it the commissionectomy. Commissionectomy means we're just analyzing. We're gonna not doing a lobotomy on you, but we're gonna go in there. We're gonna carve in and see what you're doing. So we're gonna say $100,000. Even to this day, I'm amazed that so many realtors, that's their goal. They want to make $100,000. That was my goal back in 1995, 96, 97. What year is it again today? That should be 300,000. Just saying. Certainly not 100. Okay. Well, we're leaving it at 100 for now. And we're saying the average sale price is 400,000 at 2.5%, right? Because we're talking about the listing portion. We're forgetting about the co-op portion. We're taking 2.5%. We want that portion of the 5. Makes sense, right? We're calling this, by the way, the healthy business, okay? So at $100,000, 10 transactions of 400K, we're gonna get, 10 transactions of 400K, 2.5%, we're getting the 100 grand. Everybody follow that simple math, right? Okay. So at $100,000 is what's called your gross commission income. So this is a very common word in real estate parlance, especially us as the brokers and leaders of the company. We look at the thing called gross commission income, which is the gross numbers that are coming in. We're not looking at your HST here, right? I mean, if that's HST is 113,000, but right. So we said in the chart book, the chart back there, the pie, we said that we're going to do 35%. Now, you might be doing 20% as your expenses. This is just a generic example. You put the numbers in that reflect what you are doing. Everybody got that, right? In our example, we're saying 35% are expenses, which is taking down your gross commission income to 65,000. Again, you're going to go to your accountant. I'm not an accountant, and I'm not even playing and pretending to be one today. Okay, I'm just giving you some generic facts. So now you're down to 65,000, of which that's where you're going to pay your taxes. In this model, we're saying you're paying 32% in taxes. Okay, that's your effective tax rate. Federal, provincial, municipal. You know, the HST you pay on your gas, now with the carbon tax addition, all this kind of nonsense. We're saying you're paying 32%. You might be at 20% or 20, whatever. I don't care. You put in your own numbers, okay? So you're left with then, in green, your net income. What's the word I used for net income?
Cash in pockets.
That's why. Remember the first exercise we did when we started this course was, why did you get into this business? Why? That has to be like a neon sign in your brain whenever you're dealing with buyers or sellers when it comes to your fee. Would you all agree with me? Perfect. Because if you don't, you're giving away your whys all the time. This is a healthy business. Now, as I said, you can modify the numbers. You can make the net income $60,000 if you play your, whatever your system and game you're running. But are you kind of shocked now that your net income from 100 grand is less than 50%? I would be. Pretty crazy. That's a healthy business. Our next business is going to be, not the terminal one, we're going to go to vulnerable business. And we're going to reduce our fee by 0.5%. So we're going to go from 5% to 4.5. We're giving 2.5 to the cooperating broker. We're remaining and keeping 2%. Everybody following, tracking that? Great. So now you're at 80,000 from 100 grand. That's your what? Gross commission income. Okay. Your $80,000, you have your 35% business expenses. Again, put in your real ones. I don't care. That's $28,000 in this example. Now your income is down to 52,000. And now you got to pay your taxes. Again, play around with whatever numbers you want. I don't care. Your net income here becomes $35,000 from 44 down to
9,000.
35. Now the trick we play, and this is what I got in the bottom here, the trick we play with ourselves is that we say, well, Mike, all I got to do is get one more deal and I make that up. But the math doesn't actually say that. The math is different if you look at the math the real way. In this case, you actually need to have 3 more deals to equal the loss of net income. Why? There's a delta difference of roughly $9,000 between your healthy net and your vulnerable net. Divide that number by 10. It's $3,000 roughly. That's 3 more net profit deals you got to do to get back that $9,000. Ever track that? It's not one deal, it's 3. So whenever kid yourself, delude yourself into thinking it's one more deal. It gets better. This is the shocking part for you guys. Because who doesn't go and do 2%? Give a 0.5%. Like that's a nothing. You just throw it away. And by the way, that is a 20% reduction. Not a 0.5 point. It's 20% of your gross commission income potential. You need to think it like that. You cannot think it's a 0.5 point I gave away. It's 20% of my income and my revenue. You guys are the best charities in the world when you do that. And you're giving it away. You literally are giving it away.
And it's gross, not
I'm
net.
planning my retirement right now because I'm 54. If you'd like to do that for me, come and say, Mike, I'm going to give you 0.5% of my income to fund your retirement. I'll be the first one to thank you guys very much. But you're not going to do that because it doesn't make sense to do that. It shouldn't make sense for you to do that when you go take a listing. Would you agree with that? But you do. And everybody does. Most people do, not everybody. That's that. Now we get into the terminal business. The terminal business is a 4% listing, right? Number 5, now we're down to 4, 2.5 to the cooperating broker. And now how much to you? 1.5. I bet you most realtors are actually operating in this business model, 4% listing. They're taking 1.5%. Do all the math. I'm not going to go through it all, but it's the same kind of things. We're saying 35 or 32. Your net income is $26,000 versus the 44,000. Okay. So your delta difference is over $17,000, almost $18,000 there, right? It's a 40% reduction in your income. 40% you've given away, not even 40. This math is not 1 more deal or 2 more deals. This math is 7 more deals to get you back up to where the 44 was. 7 more. I never understood the math like how I shared, right? I'm not even going to put, because terminal, you're actually still alive. You just don't know you're dead yet. You're still alive for now. I don't do the other one because you're dead. We pull the plug on you when you're at 3.5%, 1%. That's 60%. You've given away 60% when you're going at 3.5%. That is the business that sends flyers out or advertises they're going out of this business. You're going out of business. I'm telling you, you're dead. You just don't know it yet at that level, at 60%. Have I shocked you a little bit? Brought a little bit of reality to the situation. There's people here in the office that do not play the terminal, dead, even vulnerable business. They play the healthy business game. And they're okay with walking away from a transaction where the seller only wants to pay them 3.5 or 4%. They'd rather go focus on the 5 clients they've got at 5% than the one having one extra person at 4% or 3.5. Because that person doesn't value you. Because at this stage, when you're doing your negotiation for your fee, you've already shown your value, right? You've done your whole presentation. They don't realize what you're delivering. And this is what they want you to, charge as your fee. You're probably better to put them as the lead and move on. Just saying, right? Because that person will refer you other business based upon the cost side, the price side. And if you go back to my last class where I showed you my fee model system, my fee model system takes a lot of this off the table, but some of you won't use that. That's fine. That's why I do this exercise, which will show you or convince you, hopefully inspire you to change and create some type of platform where you're negotiating your full amount. I saw a hand. Yes.
What about when you present your packages? Some
Sorry?
listing like packages with your commission, right?
Yeah, like my fee system. Remember the fee model system I showed last week?
Yeah, like you show them like what you're doing, but if the person is coming, it's like, I don't want to do anything in the house. All I need you to just release my house. I don't want to even paint the house.
Yeah.
Nothing. But I need commission reduction.
Right. So that's great. That actually is one of the objection handling dialogues. So if you go to page 60 at the top, it says, will you unbundle your fees? If you see that one, right? And we're going to get into that in a couple of minutes. We're going to have some fun here. You guys are going to have some fun. But you see the, will you unbundle your fees? That's what you're talking about there. And those are called basically mere listings, right? Where the seller does not value, does not think there's any benefit to them for you to do the staging or the painting or whatever you're going to do in your packaging. And they just want you to put it on MLS. We're not the company that does that. You'd actually be asked to need Royal LePage signature. We are not a mere listing brokerage. We're a full service brokerage. Okay.
I just lost the listing because of that. So like I'm not, but I'm here.
You didn't lose the listing. You won the listing because you didn't lower your standards to that.
So
Right.
I can't take your listing and
Correct.
run a market if I'm not preparing because
Correct.
then you would blame me if you didn't
Right.
receive the
Just
amount.
change the language that you just said to you won the listing. You did not lose anything. You benefited. Believe me, you benefited. Because the biggest problems you're going to have as a realtor are with those types of clients that do not respect you, do not value you. Game over. End of story. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I know we talk about like working with family and it's not a good idea. But what if it comes to like friends and they see your business, but they also don't want to pay the full percentage as well?
Sure.
And you have a lot of those.
Get new friends.
Yeah.
It's a challenge, right? I mean, and this is where you have to make a business decision. Like you have to be firm on what your business looks like and how you're going to operate it. And are you going to allow exceptions in your business? And if you allow exceptions in your business, where does it start? Where does it stop? Right? So to me, that is a very tough question and conversation you have to have with yourself. So maybe the friends don't become part of your business model and you deal with strangers. Most of my clients were strangers, met through organizations in the hockey, baseball kind of world, because working for friends and family is painful at times. And I've watched friendships be destroyed because of real estate. I've had people, our realtors that you interact with, break down in my office in tears because of friends that have chosen to betray them, for lack of a better word, right? Your kindness, your goodness, and your the way you are, your personality, it's not. A carbon copy of sometimes what your friends are like, right? Your friends are maybe just motivated by the money part, not all the rest of it. But you actually were able to put together a transaction that is not gonna end up in a court case like that. Like, how important is that to them? Right, to lose $500,000, right? I'm not saying anything about derogatory about the buying version, but you've got to make a really tough choice in how you want to operate that business. Me personally, very rare that I deal with friends, like my core group of friends. It's rare, and never my family. I already told you that. That's my brother. I do talk to them.
Most of your database was strangers.
Pretty much all strangers. Yeah, not the stranger danger thing. They became relationships, right? Like, yeah. There was a question over here.
I was just gonna say, like, I actually have worked with a lot of family and friends, and I found it easier to charge full commission.
There you go.
Because I essentially, they know my persona, I just laid back the law. So this is my business, so as much as I wanna help you, there's a relationship here, why don't you help me?
And it's your choice, right? This is your business model. And if
You
you're,
always treat it as a transaction, like we're family, but this is a transaction. So I'm not disagreeing with you, I'm just saying that it's,
and I always say that, I always preface that was my business model. This is why I also have the argument about the Competition Bureau looking at our business all the time and saying we're anti-competitive. There's 75,000 realtors in Toronto. There's 103,000 in Ontario through AREA. I mentioned there's 103,000 different business models and plans for offering fees for buyers and sellers. Wouldn't you agree with that? I don't know about you, but last time I drove down the street, which was this morning, when I passed the Shell gas station and Petro gas station and Esso gas station, for some reason, the gas price was exactly the same. Don't know how that worked, but at ours, we have a room full of different realtors here, and I can guarantee you there's going to be different plans and different services. Is that not competition? What's anti-competitive about that? So, like I said, I always preface, this is your business. If you want to work with fans, go ahead and do it. I drew the line. It's nothing. Is a question.
Can Amanda ask you a question at home? She, all of yours.
Oh, yeah, sure. Do I have to unmute something or?
No, I just.
Okay.
Oh, hi there. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for taking the time to answer my questions. So I'm very new to real estate. I just got my license recently. I got a listing and it was on the market for 6 months. It was overpriced. Long story short, we had to accept a lower offer because the seller didn't want to take the original offer of $985,000. She was looking for $1 million. We got a price of $928,000. She accepted it. However, there were some issues with the home inspection, so now we had to lower it by $5,000.
Okay.
And so, anyways, everything went through. The deal is firm and everything like that. However, to make the deal go through, I promised her like cash back.
Rebate?
Like a rebate, yes. And like she's like, no, like I need to have this much in my bank account in order to help the deal go through. And then it's not that she told me to reduce commission, but I offered it to help the deal go through. I kind of shot myself in the foot.
Okay.
And also, I also promised her, like when she purchases, that I would give her $5,000.
Okay.
Now so basically, I'm basically giving her a rebate of like $18,000.
Okay. Ouch, yeah.
And she's purchasing a condo in Hamilton at $440, and in Hamilton it's 2%. So like and not to mention I staged her home myself. I paid for half the painting. Me and my friend cleaned her house, hired 2 movers to declutter. Like I just went a little, I don't know what happened. Like I feel like I'm in a negative here. Like, like I don't know. So my point is, I want to not, like I already promised her the cash back to when rebate, whatever.
Honor.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. Like I can't go back now.
Yeah, honor the commitment 100%.
To get 3 more clients out of that.
Yeah. Anybody want to comment?
I just look at it as a learning experience.
100%.
You're new to the business, so just
100%.
Yeah, I know.
And listen, I've made lots of mistakes in my career that I regret, but learning experiences that I would never make again, those same mistakes, right? So you've now experienced all in one transaction, both the pain of the buyer rebate and the seller rebate And on top of that, all the grunt work that you did in decluttering the house and doing all that stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of pain and agony you went through to do that. And now the financial pain and agony, you're feeling that. Just don't let it consume you. You have to get past it. This is done. You're not, if you live in the past, remember that poem I said, right? That's Des Whaley. You become senile living in the past. Like you will drive yourself mental if you stay back.
Yeah.
You've done it. Close that door. It's now airtight. You're on a submarine. Okay. Your submarine is flooding in the back, which is your past. Close the airtight doors. If you don't, it's going to flood where you are in the main compartment.
But it also
And it's going to flood your future, which is in the front where the torpedoes are, where you blow people up. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
client not to talk about you as a discount agent. It's like, I did this favor for you, however, I'm not giving discounts to others. So when you talk, like, please give, like, do the favor for me, you know?
Yeah, so here's, we have the rebate forms, by the way, in the brokerage that you can use, because here's the other trap that you play. So one is this about confidentiality. You want this to be a confidential, one-off situation that you've done because you were in distress. Like and if you look at on page 60, I'm in a bad way, can you help me out? One of those things that I talk about too. And this person threw that at you. That was her curveball to you. I'm in a bad way, I need this in my bank account. Great, well, that's not my problem that you put yourself financially in a bad way. Would you agree with that? That's your problem.
Yes.
So
yeah,
her problem, she made it your problem. She's the garbage truck full of all this garbage, driving around, went to your beautiful front lawn after you did all this amazing work for her, staged your house, decluttered it, and she dumped her garbage financially on your front lawn, and you helped clean that up too. So your choice, her bad way in the financial was never your problem. Going forward though, it's airtight. You're on the submarine. This is in the past. This is behind you. Lock those doors, because if you don't, it's going to leak into your present and it's going to leak into your future. Do not let that happen. You move on, right?
So I've also hired, she's asking me if I can get the movers that helped originally, but anything forward, like I'm going to give her like the bill, like you pay for anything. Like I'm not covering a dime. Like I'm done. I'm tapped out.
This was not part of the agreement. Hey, listen, I make an exception here. You've had some financial distress. I've made the exception, but at the end of the day, any of these extra costs were never part of the agreement that we made, you know, and the integrity agreement we made. If you want to, hire these extra suppliers, that's really at your expense, right? To be fair. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That goes back to what you
Sorry, that was my bad.
Right on. Yes, no, exactly. If you're going to do those types of things, contract that stuff up front, have it committed in writing, so that if there is a dispute down the road, it's not he said, she said kind of stuff. It's black and white. Okay. Any other questions before we move on to the fun part of the day? Sorry, you're done with this? We're going to go to this thing. Don't I have like these are the questions. Okay, so if we go to, it says talking points, page 59 and page 60, right? So these are just some kind of questions that'll creep up at the listing table, okay? Just some objection handling, things you're gonna deal with. So another realtor said they would cut their commission. There's 4 examples of responses for that. Next one here would be, will you cut your commission if I buy with you? It's all in your book, right? You see it in all your book, right? Then the next one is, if it sells quickly, will you cut your commission? Will you unbundle your fees? Unbundling is the meter listing thing. We don't do that here, okay? If you double end it, will you cut your commission? That's the same thing as if you buy with me, will you cut your commission, right? Do you get these questions, by the way?
Yeah.
Or am I out to lunch? Did they stop doing that 17 years ago?
No.
They still do it, right? Okay, good. I'm in a bad way. This is like our friend in the home audience. Can you help me out? Okay. These are my comments on it. Going forward. Okay, so we got these various things. Okay, so I want you guys to sit down for the next 5 minutes, go through all of these questions. And then what we're going to do is we're going to ask for how many volunteers? 4 volunteers that are gonna come up here. And you guys are gonna be sellers. One's a seller and one's a buyer, and you're gonna switch. Now, if you're terrified to do it, that's fine. But I wanna see if we can get 4 volunteers to come up. And if you screw up, great. Learn from it. If you embarrass yourself, even better. You're being filmed, and we're gonna have that forever. Okay? But I wanna have 4 people. Now, Matt said to me that Matt can actually have some people from home that participate, just like we just did there, right? We can touch
Can have their image up there too.
and we'll have your face up there too. All right, so if we have 4 people, we'll have, if you want, can we do 2 from home and 2 from the audience?
We'll see who volunteers.
Who's gonna volunteer first? We got 2 right there. Those 2 right there. All right, they beat you in the room. And now we got 2 from the,
We'll just, does anyone at home wanted to do this? I'll have you'll have to unmute and have your video on. Does anyone at home would like to do this?
okay, it's like Jeopardy. Dun, 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 dun,
Just waiting for the
dun,
typing to come in.
dun, 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 dun. We have?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay, I'm gonna count down from 10 to rocket launch here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nobody from home. Okay, in the audience, there's 2 more people. 1, 2. All right, we got 4 people. They'll be in the audience. Okay. Now, what you didn't know is you're gonna get rewarded. Show them what you got under your desk there, Maddie.
Oh, sweet.
See, volunteering is a good thing with me. You get rewarded. So the 4 volunteers will have their choice of Amazon books. There's a whole bunch of books that they get to pick. And we'll put them on this chair so that they can see. And the home audience gets to see it too. And see what they missed, and what you all missed here as well, the ability, because they're gonna get books, by the way, at the 6th course too. And what else did we bring, Matt? That's not all. Pins. Pins.
Oh
Okay. I picked up a whole bunch of pins last year when I was at the NAR conference in Anaheim, California. They say realtor instead of like the realtor. Okay. So yes, let's show you guys what you can do in these beautiful books, right? I don't know. Never split the difference. So you get to pick one. Your first 365 days in real estate. That's kind of cool. Oh, all right. We're gonna get, this one here, I lent out to somebody already, but this is awesome. Okay.
I attest to that.
Okay, so you get that one. This one here, negotiation genius. That's pretty cool. Okay. Getting to yes. This is the guy that Emilio, one of the guys, goes down to Harvard and learns from. And it's really good stuff. I got the book called Getting to Yes, it's getting past no. Really cool stuff. Selling Like Sirhan. This one, awesome. The Psychology of Money. Love it. You get to pick one. Hey, start with why.
Yeah.
What it started with, right? I've been saying this for way before this guy ever wrote that book. Damn it, I always miss out.
These are the whys we're talking about.
Yeah. Atomic Habits, really cool. This one here, I can only get one of them. I'm gonna see if I get some more. Unreasonable Hospitality. That's the guy that actually started a restaurant in New York City and made it a Michelin style restaurant. Really cool stuff. But I can only get the one. Grit, very cool. And what else we got here? Negotiating negotiables. I think this is, well, yeah, you can't get the first 2 because those are the autographed ones, but I do have two. That's at the last class. This is the autographed ones. Make sure. Okay, spend 5 minutes reading them,
Oh, wait. This question.
all of you, and then the 4 that have volunteered will come up here. You can pair off with whoever you want. And it'll be a special prize for the winner. We're gonna pick by voting, cheering, who you think the winner is of the 4. Okay? So 5 minutes. Go through the list, because what's gonna happen, the seller is gonna hit you with the objections that you see there. And you, if you wanna use the book and read or whatever, or you wanna freestyle it, you do what you wanna do. And then you get to be reversed. So if you wanna be a real jerk of a seller to the other person, they're gonna return the favor. Or if you're really kind to them and they turn into a jerk on you, so be it. Okay, we're good? Sorry at the home audience, I tried.
Okay. Okay.
Where's the pins?
On my desk.
So here's the pins. Oh yeah, they get a choice of,
One of each. For each.
oh, we're gonna give you one. Look at that.
One each.
We're gonna give you a royal page pin
I can keep them until you're
and a
done.
realtor pin, okay?
Can we keep them until you're done?
No, we're good. We're good. Okay. 5 minutes.
I'm just gonna pause the recording. just so
Okay,
there's not a
sure.
5-minute blank space.
Perfect. Thanks.
So, this morning was home, so that it was and they person for offer. Yes, the seller was selling it for 2.9 million dollars. And they said that it was 6,900 square feet. Livable was 48. And the taxes was 72. So the buyer accepted the offer for acceptance. They realized that the actual square feet it's registered is not legal. And the taxes therefore were 30% higher because this guy, the seller, did renovation, addition. He never registered it with the so the assessment that the assessors gave back was 30% more by the tax. Before closing, we acceptance and closing. Okay, because a lot of those chambers between the time of the time of this the time of acceptance. So, because he said, this guy basically asked the sellers, extend the time, give him the goods for $50,000. He refused to sign. So the buyer.
5 minutes back.
The buyer refused.
Afterwards, 5 minutes.
The seller went after the buyer.
12:54 was my, so one more minute.
And
Are we muted?
We're not muted, but we're paused. So this is in like.
So it's also, we
and
know
damages.
the buyer never made it.
Walking in $100,000.
As a joke, kind of.
I'm
getting a lot of people.
Basically, well, that's a buyer.
Maybe the 4%. Because of
Some of the houses are also. I guess this one's, well, you're cut your commission if I buy it. I guess it could apply to when you're not originally selling.
Yeah, I assume that these were all listing presentation.
This, and so we did buyer and we did listing course, this is actually like a kind of a hybrid. You're gonna get these questions on both sides, and this is kind of how you deal with it, but the example they're gonna do is as if they listing access and this buyer.
So what are we?
So you're arguing, when you're up there, right, you're gonna have to argue and argue for your motion.
Okay.
You're gonna have to start as probably those and argue for your commission. And then you're gonna present on the second. And you're the seller, right? And you're gonna say, more common, you know, like.
In fact, that built.ca, but it wasn't.
So maybe like convince them why. We're gonna say, we're gonna try to hit that target. We're gonna try to make you enough money that it offsets those costs, right? Instead of you going to another, get a floor house, you're actually losing out on money. Right, so you're gonna, we need to balance forth. Okay, we're good time. I'm just gonna start it again. One second.
Okay, can I have my 4 volunteers up at the front?
We are, so we're resumed again for the recording.
Yep. So I'll have my 4 volunteers up at the front.
Can I take this off so I can go full screen for all people?
Sure, yeah.
Sitting here?
So we don't know who's going on the hot seat chair yet.
Can I not have them, actually, you know what, I'm just gonna turn the camera, so we don't have that happen.
Oh, right.
No, you're good there, you're good there. Okay, there we go.
All right, so we have our 4. Have you guys individually figured out who you want to go against? Who you're?
Are you gonna surprise us and put on a spot? No?
Just pick people.
Plus.
All right, so we'll go, we'll let the audience choose. Who do you want to fight each other out here?
Well, Wings and Heart.
Outside?
Outside.
Actually, because you're the first 2, so we'll go like that.
Okay.
All right, so randomly, who do you want to go first? The first volunteers?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put the first volunteers. All right.
All right.
So who's going to be the seller? Who's going to be the buyer? Or sorry, seller and realtor. That's my mistake.
I'll be the seller.
But you're going to change, right? Like you get to be the seller for the start.
Yeah.
And then she gets to be the seller too. So if you're going to be hard, she's going to be harder.
But it's okay. It should be okay.
If you're nice, she's probably still going to be harder. Okay. All right, so we've got the dialogues that I have in the book. You guys are freestyling without a book, which I love it, okay? There's no perfect answers here. There's no making mistakes. This is a safe environment. And for those of you sitting in their chairs here or at home, these people have guts. Not that you don't, but this is pretty smart, right? This one here. So one, before we start, give everybody a round of applause. You know the type of questions that I've got in the book. I want you to be hard on the person, not just asking one. I want you to hit them with all of them if you want, or the spiciest ones that you've got that may not even be in the book. Okay? And this is about objection handling your fee. And you're thinking about your why, but you don't want to give it away. And you give up your why while you want her to give it away, okay? Yes. All right, go.
So he's agent and who's the agent and who's?
I am the agent.
Seller.
Okay, seller agent, okay.
Realtor. And we're gonna go 5 minutes.
So it can be any kind of objections
So
or?
what we're gonna do, we're gonna actually finish with a winner, right? So we're gonna let you all 4 go, and then we're gonna pick the top 2. You guys are going to by applause, okay?
And before you go, please keep the chart.
Yeah.
Complete 0 to give them the floor entirely.
Yeah. So can I have a clock or?
I got my clock right here, you're good.
So you got 5 minutes.
So the objection has to be from there or?
Whatever you want.
Anywhere you want. But I won't, like I gave you the. Yes. All right, go for it.
Hi, nice meeting you today.
Same here. So tell me, we were talking about the commission, right?
Absolutely. What would you like to know about my commissions?
How much do you charge?
You know that in the market we're here in Toronto, usually commissions are 5%, and that's what my brokerage and I charge.
That's surprising because I'll be honest with you, I've talked to at least 5 agents and none of them have told me 5%. You're maybe the highest one. So maybe the least likely to be picked.
I totally understand that there are a lot of agents out there who charge you less. However, you have to look at the full picture, what they offering you with their percentage. Are they offering you full service, or they offering just to get your house to put on the market, and they're trying to get the volume out of the quality?
Every one of them I've spoken to, they've agreed to do full service. Photograph, staging, painting, everything. What do you do different to be asking extra?
So what we can do, we can go through my chart, what I can offer, and it's not just me, it's my brokerage. We have a full team, they work together. We have marketing team, we have staging team, we have contractors that can come and do the work. However, we're offering different packages that you can choose and pick your own contractor. Depends on the price that you're willing to spend on the house. And we can go through that if you would like, and see if it will change your mind.
Surprisingly, the other agent was from your brokerage only, Mike Kennelly. Do you know him?
And I know he wouldn't charge less than 5%. Am I right?
But he told me he would charge 4.
Oh, that wasn't my canal. It's someone who is trying to be him.
Listen, I don't want to pay extra. If there are other agents who are charging me less, then why would I pay extra?
Okay, so let's look at this in a different way. How much money do you want to have in your pocket? What drives you with this decision?
As much as possible.
So do you think the agent who charges less will spend so much time, will dedicate himself and put all the efforts to make the best deal for you? Or he knows I'm not making money here as much as I want, so I have to get other clients. So what he will do, he will put your house on MLS. Everybody can do that. But then he will go to other houses and offer them 1.5%, 4%, because he has to somehow make that money. For me, this is the job, right? I'm not coming to your job and work and saying like, listen, he doesn't worth that much. Why do you pay him so much, right? No, your boss is not asking you to cut your salary. So right now you're asking me to cut my salary when I'm spending and dedicated my time to bring the best for you. Because at the end, if I spend time, I can promote, I can advertise, I don't know, with flyers, open house, we stage, we prepare your house fully to be sold at the highest price. So at the end, you will get this money, what you want. However, you have to put some work to get there.
It's surprising because one of the realtors, he's charging me 4, by the way. He sold my friend's home in nearly 3 days. He did all of that, but he charged less percentage.
Do you know when did they sell the house? At what market?
Last week.
And where? When do you plan to sell it?
This week.
This week. Do you think your house is ready to be sold at this stage?
Yes, I do.
I will be, it's nice to see you think that. I will be quite honest with you. If you want your house to be sold as your neighbor, we have to sit and compare if even your house can be sold with the same price with your neighbor, because houses are different, right? We have to see the finishes, we have to see the rentals and the work that has been done in the house and outside the house as well. It's a big part when we deciding the price of the house, if we can put with a higher price or a lower price, right?
But that still doesn't answer my question. I want to pay 4% and you're asking 5%.
I understand what you want. You want a 4%, and you're referring to the house that might not even comparable to your house.
I'm referring to the agent on the house. That agent is full service from your brokerage, charges 4%, and you're charging 5%. I want you to cut down on the commission.
Okay, your time up.
Good job, good job.
Sterilized environment too, by the way, and I've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of listing presentations, and you were pretty tough, okay? So like you were not giving her any oxygen to breathe here, like you were choking her out here, like.
At this point, what I will tell you, you can always choose an agent who will overpromise you and underdeliver. However, I know what I am offering, what I can deliver to my clients, and how dedicated I am. And I can show you my reviews from my clients and how they talk, and you can look at my listings and how I present and everything. We can go through this, but it's up to you at the end of the day who you're choosing. And if that's the only reason why you're choosing an agent, you can go with a person who is charging you less. And if they overpromise and underdeliver, call me after.
Yeah, she got some bonus time there, so we might give you some bonus time. But anyway, this was amazing. Very well done by both of you. I applaud you. It's difficult to stand in front of your peers and do this on the spot. Nobody knew we were doing this today. Only Matt and you did. One of the observations I would say is just to have that rebuttal dialogue to some of the questions just internalized in there, right? It just makes the conversation flow, right? Because if you notice, there was a couple of times where it got a little confrontational, I would say. And again, we're in a sterile environment. You were lobbing hand grenades at her. It was unbelievable. I hope she's going to do the same to you. Payback is A. B. So, but honestly, that was great, right? And good for you for doing that. So you get to be the seller. And you get to be the realtor.
All right.
And by the way, that was kind of creative using me as the discount realtor. Like that was awesome. Okay, go ahead. 5 minutes.
Rishi. Oh, hi, Rishi.
Hi.
You are fourth today. Okay, what you got over there?
Why
Yes.
was I not the first? Why would you not pick me the first one?
Listen, people, it's scheduled. So you're fourth. You're lucky to be here.
I like that.
Tell me more about you, what you're offering, because we have tough competition out there.
Really?
Absolutely.
I don't think so. I've always won at 100% of the listing appointments I've wanted. So I don't think it would be a tough competition.
Oh.
Sellers might not want to work with me, but I've not experienced that in the past. So let's see if you're the first one.
They all say that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, you think you are all the best. I get it.
Thank you.
However, how much do you charge? What is the commissions?
First of all, I don't use the word commission. I charge it as fees for the services I do. And we charge 5% on the total sales price of your home. We've already gone through the comparables and we think your home is worth 1 million, right?
Absolutely.
So it would come down to around 50 grand plus existing.
Yeah, that's a lot, and that's what I want to say. We don't want to pay. We're not gonna pay 5%. That's not happening.
So you're telling me you don't want to pay 5%, right?
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because other agents can charge me 4% and 3.5%. Actually, one of them said like 3.5%.
Okay. So what matters to you more? The amount you get to net yourself or how much I charge? What weighs more to you? What's more important?
You do the same job. At the end of the day, it's how much money I'm paying out of my pocket. So if you're promising me to sell for 1 million and he's promising me to sell for 1 million, I don't want to pay 50K.
I get it. I totally understand your position. But again, what matters to you more? How much you net in your pocket or how much I make?
It goes 1 to 1. If you sell a house for 1 million, right, or 1.1, and I'm paying you 5%, I'm paying more commissions. Same other agent will sell me for 1.1 as well. I'm paying 3.5%.
I get it. I get it how you look at it, and that's amazing. We get that all the time. So just pure maths. It's not you, me, or any other agent. Pure maths. If I come down 1%, how much difference would it be? Around $5,000, you could say.
1%?
If my commission reduces by $5,000, just for an example.
Yes,
And I
perfect.
net you 5,000 more, it would not affect you in any way, but how much am I
How can
making?
you promise that another agent won't net me 5,000 as well? That's the question. It's like, for me, it's a lottery. It's like you promising, he's promising. How do I know that you will deliver it and he will deliver? He's in the market, their team, they're so successful. You coming that new. I didn't hear about you, you know.
Yeah.
So like, where this confidence is coming from?
Yeah. So I do not know the other agents you're talking to, so I don't have anything to say about
The
them.
success
But I know
team,
about
yeah.
myself, and you can see the testimonials on my website and the track record I
It's
have
only
with other
two.
sellers.
It's only 2 and they have 500. They've been in there.
I think mine has 600. You should again look at the website.
Okay.
Maybe you were on their website. You mix it up. It's
Yeah.
actually 600 5-star testimonials.
Okay.
So-
But they're 10 years in the business, so.
I've been here 20 years.
I have to double check you.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
And so many people, 600 other people have trusted me, and I've never charged less than 5%. You know, at the end, it comes down to quality versus quantity. If some people are charging less and they want to keep taking on listings, they won't have that much time to put on your listing and they put on you. I am a quality person, not a quantity person. So I take limited listings so that I'm able to do 100% service to them. If money was not a problem, would you go and shop at Dollarama or Tiffany's?
So I run all day.
Money was not a problem.
It's not about the problem. I like their product.
You like their product?
Absolutely. And
That's
actually, I
amazing.
want to say one thing. The agent before you
Yeah.
charged me 4%, and he said the same sentence. I think like you're reading from the same book.
I think I might have trained him. I might have trained him, yeah. So
So
he's
you-
using my line.
But you
So
have the competition, and he's at 4%.
I'm not someone who looks at it as competition. I just do my job. I take care of my family. I take care of my clients. That's what I do. I don't look at it as competition.
Okay, we're at 5. I'm gonna use a martial arts example here, okay? Use jujitsu in what you're doing, right? Because again, you feel the tension, I know we're in an artificial environment here. This is not on the street. And we're throwing hand grenades at each other and blow each other up. But you want to be jujitsu. You don't want to be confrontational, bang, 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 right? So you definitely want to know what are the big questions you're going to always experience. And we'll go back to, I talked about being a commodity realtor. Remember a commodity realtor? We're all are we all the same?
No.
No. So when you're having these things, if you're just shooting back without the examples, you're 20 years in the business, you're 600 sales, I'd be,
Deflected.
right? It's right. You jujitsu them, right? You
Isolated.
I should have sent everyone. Oh, what's that? Anyhow, I would be mindful of that. Again, we're in a sterile, artificial environment here. We want to have some fun and make it really difficult to put each other on the spot. We're sweating bullets, both of you, which is great because this here is the place where you learn, right? And you guys do this after this class with each other. I would meet with each other and do these types of things to get better, because maybe like you're taking it for granted when you're going into the listing presentation that you can wing it. Don't pretend to be able to wing it. Be ready for it. When it's ever the other realtor, right? The other realtor said he would. The best dialogue in here is number 2. On the another realtor said they would cut our commission, because they're always going to compare you because they think you're a commodity to another realtor. So the number 2, well, if that other realtor can't even negotiate their fee with you, how do you expect them to negotiate the sale of your property? I want an answer to that. How does that look? Tell me. If you think I'm all the same, I'm telling you I'm different. Because right now, on the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, you pull out there's only 40% of the sale of properties are selling. So your neighbor actually went to the casino and they actually won the crapshoot there. They won at the lottery, because that's not what's happening. Only 40% are selling. And by the way, I'm selling 98% of my properties. You think I'm doing something different? Maybe because I am not just negotiating my own commission, I'm negotiating my fee, right? You say commission, I say fee. So you always want to be able to respond. The best one is if that other realtor can't even negotiate their own fee, Mr. Seller, please tell me how they're gonna negotiate your fee. That's me taking money out of my own pocket and dropping it out on the floor. You think I'm gonna be able to keep money in your pocket when it comes time to negotiate? Because in every survey that I ever read about realtors, in the top three always is about negotiation. I'm here to negotiate. And if I can't negotiate my fee with you, and somebody else wants to discount, that's a pleasure for them, great for them. Because not everybody can sell a property, but everybody can list a property. I'm gonna list it and sell it. My facts show it, right? Get away from the bang, 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 jujitsu, them, right? But you guys did fantastic. Round of applause again. Two more to go. Two more to go.
Well done.
You guys, yeah, whatever you choose. 5 minutes each, right, Matt? 5 minutes each. All right, go.
Hi, good day, Gloria.
Hi, and you said your name was Angelina?
Angelina, yes, very
Welcome to
nice to
my
meet
home.
you. Thank you. Very
Um,
beautiful home you have here.
Thank you. Sorry that my family's not here. It's just me today. My
Yeah.
kids are in school and my husband is working. So it's just me right now, but I'll be sure to relay him all that you tell me today from
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, thank you. What do you think so far from what you've done from our walkthrough that my house would be worth?
Yeah, so first thing, absolutely beautiful home. You have everything completed here. I'm very excited to be here today with you. And prior to meeting you here, I actually have done some analysis of your surrounding area. I brought with me 3 similar comparable. Of course, we can have a look at this to give you kind of like an approximate about, your neighborhood, some of the other listing that was sold in the last 6 months, and then we can adjust accordingly on the listing. Based on, the walkthrough that we have done so far, I am confident that we can certainly help you sell this house and optimize, get you the best price as soon as possible.
Okay.
I understand that this is, like something you absolutely love, right? And it's a big decision for you, but not really to worry. I've been in the business, I've been in sales for 20 years. I've been in real estate for 8 years. I was the #1 realtor last year at Royal Page Signature. We are a very, I would say holistic A to Z brokerage, right? So the type of service that I provide, everything include market comparable. We haven't had a chance to sit at my office yet for me to walk you through the presentation, but I have a pre-presentation binder with me here. It basically at a high level show the type of service that I provide, everything from the comparable, the analysis, everything from, staging. I have a team that's ready to support me from design to listing, to touch up anything that you may have here, even landscaping it for you and photograph it, stage it for you. I just want to make sure that you are fully comfortable at the service that myself and my brokerage provide. Just based on that at a high level right now. So what do you think? Any thought, any concern that I can help you address?
Yeah, so it's fun. I'm glad you mentioned that because you were like my maybe 3rd person I'm talking to this week. Every other realtor has been from Remax. So you're like my only Royal Page agent. And I wanted to meet with you today because Royal Page is very high selling. I know they provide a lot of amazing resources. And they would help me get the value that I deserve or my family deserves.
Of course.
My family loves this home. We've been here for a long time. We do look to upsize, but the kids don't want to leave. So we do want to be able to sell it at the value that it's worth. And our only concern is the commission, of course.
Yes.
So we know most of the agents we've spoken to have come to like talking about reducing the commission. So I kind of wanted to bring that with you. Like, would you be okay if we work with you to reduce your commission? Yeah, that's the first question.
Gloria. I get asked this question quite often, right? But again, going back to what I was saying, like the other agent that, talking about reducing commission. The first thing I want to ask is their experience. especially negotiation, right? If they're not even willing to talk to you and stay put at the 5% that the industry standard is charging, how can you trust them of negotiating for you to sell the home that you have spent so much time and effort and love, right? And then the next step is even find you a better house, a house that your family would absolutely be happy in, right? If they can't even do something as simple as that, can you trust them to help you process this important transaction ever? Right? So that's the first thing. With me, myself, based on the experience that I've had, and the success, more important, the success that I have had, selling not just, this kind of, I would say multi-million-dollar house, the client have been referring me to other clients, not because I have reduced my price, but the total value that I have provided to them. Everything from, like I mentioned before, right? Everything from a listing to creative to staging, take them through the whole process. I have a strong team in the background ready to support me. The other important thing is even, this is during this transaction, it's a lot of stress and movement in your family, right? Your children, your husband, knowing that he's working. I can make this transaction completely A to Z, ease of pain for you. I talk a lot, I know. But going back, we're not done, but going back to what I was, going back to what I was saying, just based on that and based on my experience, knowledge, and the services I'm providing, unfortunately, I won't be able to reduce that. But I can assure you that with me, you can feel happy and confident and trust.
Yeah. Well, we were already confident with how you're speaking, so we'll work with you.
Thank you. Oh, that's so nice.
That was great too. I mean, again, you guys are on the spot and you were freestyling. I saw her hand. Like, good for you. It takes a lot of courage to do what you just did. I would, from both presentations, I would say there's one word that I heard that you got to take it out of your language 100%, and that's standard and commissions. You would get burned by RICO hard, right? It's always up for negotiation, right? Hey, I understand that you're asking the question. Thanks for asking the question. I get asked that all the time. You said that. That was a great way to deflect jujitsu it. And listen, the great thing about our industry, it's always up for negotiation. But let me explain to you why. I think it's a mistake going with a realtor that's willing to reduce their commission at a listing presentation like we're doing right now. Why is that? Well, you could say the objection handling, we said, well, listen, if they can't even negotiate their own fee, what's the likelihood they're going to negotiate the sale price for your home? Does that make sense to you? Like, if I'm willing to give you right now, without even embarking on this journey with you to get your home sold, to give you my fee away like this, chances are I'm probably going to give your hard-earned equity away when it comes time to negotiate. Because I'm going to have to work on a volume type of business. I got to go from here to the other one. I can't spend that extra time here with you, which was your technique, right? Right. So what you want to do is you want to infuse yourself with so much objection handling dialogues and conversations that are so internalized that you can jujitsu any situation. And you're only going to get better as you practice. I told you guys, practice over here is PBR, practice over here is the first class. I think I taught you that, right? If you're not practicing 3 to 4 hours for every hour that you're on stage, because they're on stage, it's an hour long or an hour and a half or 2 hours. If she hasn't practiced, either of them haven't practiced for 2 or 3 hours, you're going to fail, you're going to stumble, and you're going to have these confrontational, you don't want to have confrontational stuff. Like, you want to walk away that she feels really good about paying 5%. Like, I got value, right? Fantastic. So now we're going to flip it.
Can you just ask a question first? No. Okay.
After. We're going to have 5 minutes because we've got to vote. Keep your questions for later. We're going to flip the scene here. And if you want to be heard, I thought she was kind of kind.
She was very nice.
She was very
You're
nice.
very nice.
We're going to see what you're made of. Okay, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay. Hello, Angelina.
Hi, good day, Glory. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Lovely home you have here.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you for driving so far to see me.
Yeah, of course. How long have you guys, would you say you've been kind of looking to?
I've been kind of looking, I would say over the 3 months around
Okay.
there. Yeah,
Okay, how long do you guys lived here?
I lived here for 13 years.
Oh, love that, love that.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So, I guess what is your concern about moving forward, working with me, getting into market, et cetera?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of interviews with different agents, right? You know, just to be completely transparent with you. Yeah, I just want to know what type of services they provide. You know, the commission especially, what's
Yeah.
most important to me.
Yeah.
So can you share with me a little bit about, you know, what you do offer that differentiate yourself in comparison to your competitors?
Of course. Okay, so just understand, you're asking me like compared to me, like what a commission is and what we provide services
Yes,
wise.
exactly.
Okay, so I work with Royal LePage Realty, and we are one of the top like brokerages in Canada, maybe in the world. But they provide a lot of services, and so we will give you like the top and the fullest that we can when it comes to what you need, like marketing, putting on the market, finding out everything that will be needed, and making sure to sell it to you at the best value that you and your family deserves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that sounds okay. But I'm just a little concerned about, I think how much did you say your commission was?
Our commission is 5%.
5%?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so high compared to the last guy.
What's the last guy saying?
Yeah, he said 4%.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, commissions are negotiable. I don't want to say like it's a standard. It's
Yeah.
pretty negotiable, but because we are very confident that we will get you what you deserve,
Yeah.
we try to aim for the best.
Yeah.
And so for our side, it's 5%, but it is negotiable, and I'm willing to talk to you about that and see how we can work together.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I like you. And the last guy, I like him too.
Okay. What would you say is the difference between me and him?
So I want to work with someone who's, you know, who's going to be able to optimize and get me the best price for my house. So
Okay.
someone's probably going to work hard, have a strong team, you know, knowledgeable about the environment, about my neighborhood, etc. But he does too. I know you're new to real estate and everything. This guy's been around for maybe 8 years, so a little bit more experience than you. He offered me 4%, doing very similar things. As you can see, like my house is already in mint condition. It's easy to sell. Can you match that? And then, you know, if that's the case, then, you know, we can go to your office and we can work through the details.
Yeah, so what I can say about that is that someone that has been in the market a lot longer might not be able to give you his full undivided attention. Whereas someone who's a bit newer can kind of do that because I'm not working with so many different people. I kind of make you my focus and make sure that we get you what you deserve, like I was saying, and sell it not just too quick, but right at the right time.
Yeah, no, I need to go quick though. I
Okay,
need to
that's fine
make some
too.
fast, aggressive
Yeah.
decision, and money is
When
important
are
to
you
me.
trying to move out or sell it?
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, it's negotiable, right? Can we do 4% to match with him, and then I can sign with you or something like that?
Negotiable, so I would have to get back to you on that.
Okay,
It's definitely
okay.
something we can continue to talk about.
Okay.
And we can probably talk about it some more in another call, follow up, and see.
No, I need to make the decision like
Today?
Today, like
Okay.
after
can I
you
get
did
back
the
to
last
you?
interview today.
That's fair. Can I get back to you in an hour?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We'll talk in an hour.
Okay, we'll talk in another then.
Are there any other concerns you are maybe thinking about?
Yeah. Yeah, let me call the other guy as well. I just need to let him know that, you know, he has some competition.
Okay.
And then, you know, he can get back to me.
Okay, yeah, an hour, less than an hour.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay. We still got time.
You still got 40 seconds.
Oh, I do? Oh, okay.
Any last minute questions you have before I have to jet?
Yeah, so the other thing is I want to make sure that we do some staging.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's my favorite part of the.
Yeah, that's included in your commission too, right?
It can be. I messed up?
Yeah, no, I need that to be included in the commission. And then I was wondering if you can cover the lawyer fee for me.
If I can cover the lawyer fee?
Yeah.
That would have to be on you, just because that's not part of our negotiation.
Lori, I was
Alright, we're at
towards
5.
you.
Okay.
This is, by the way, there's no mistakes being made here at all by anybody. Like you're putting you through a grinder. okay? Like here, it's a meat grinder here, and this is completely staged. It's sterile environment, as I said before. It's artificial. You didn't make any mistakes. You made learning experiences, I think, right? Because you guys were actually being very tough with each other. My experience would say you're probably more tough than a typical seller would be now. Again, think about it. You've already gone through your whole presentation, right? So we're doing a snapshot here at the end of the presentation, talking about the fees. So we're missing a whole hour or an hour and a half worth of the value added things that you're talking about, right? So when you're coming down to the finish line, there's the, you know, there's the tape you're gonna bust through, and now you're being really hard with each other. And that's good, because you'll remember this. All four of you, more than the audience will, because you were on the hot seat here. You will never forget this experience, and this will build strength for you, build mind muscle and strength for you in the future for when you're sitting with a real seller. So when somebody hits you with, are you going to pay my lawyer's fees too? Are you going to pay my, like, you're ready for that, because you've had that experience here in a safe environment. Nobody here's judging, nobody here's, in fact, we're all going to give them up. You guys were fantastic, right? And listen, to be put on the spot like that, some rough around the edges stuff, that all you need to do is just kind of refine that, sand that stuff, those edges down a bit, and you guys are going to be amazing. But you got to stay, practice, rehearse this stuff, and drill it. Now, we had a question here. Did anybody else?
No, got answer.
Got answer. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for them? So we're going to go down, if you want. We're at half an hour past what I promised, but this is kind of cool stuff, right? So we're going to go down to 2. They all get pins, and they all go pick a book right now.
Thank you.
So you pick a book.
All right.
Pick a book. Can I dictate one book?
No, just
One
one book. Psychology of Money.
So we had a few requests from Mark,
Happiness.
if we be able to do.
Do we want to switch after? Maybe everyone?
You can. We're going to do that.
I want, no way, that's too thick. That's too thick.
Okay.
I have this one.
Either
I have
I'm
that
going
one
to be
too.
the real
That's
estate, or Emilio will, or vice versa. We actually do that as our
That's a
last
good
one.
one.
Okay, so we got the 4. By show of applause, we're going to do this twice, because we're going to go down to the top 2, okay? And they're going to go and spar with each other, okay? And if you want to leave, you can go. If you want to stay, stay. But let's go with, so you're taking one.
I know, I'm just trying to decide.
Yeah.
You got your one?
Where's those
Okay.
slightly different? Can you
So
switch?
we're picking the top 2 to spar off. By show of applause. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I got you for sure as 1,
All the same.
right? Would you agree? That was the
Yeah.
loudest. Okay, we're gonna do this one more time. Okay. So these 2, doesn't mean you guys did a great job. Honest to God, thank you for being courageous and stepping up and doing this. And you honestly, you're gonna imprint what you just did, and it'll be successful for you, I guarantee. Because when you get hit with these questions you got hit with, you've already done it in front of an audience of your peers, right? Thank you very much for doing that. Thank you. What books did you guys pick?
Start with 1.
Start with Y, there you go, awesome. Okay, so the winner here of these 2 will get the extra, where did my other person go?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, ready, we're gonna do the same thing,
Okay.
we're gonna flip. You guys can pick who wants to be seller first and realtor first, okay? And we're gonna give you 5 minutes.
give me a realtor. Okay, the realtor.
Okay. Ready, Matt? 5 minutes, who's the realtor?
I'm the realtor.
Okay,
Angelina, yeah, Anna, I know, I remember you.
all right, give him 5 minutes, go ahead, go ahead.
Hi, Angelina, we already attend, of this long hour. And, my question is probably will be the last, we haven't talked yet about commissions. How much do you charge?
Yeah, so That's in real estate world, what we call is a fee. And before I answer that question directly for you, allow me to share with you some of the services that will be included there. I know this is a big transaction process for you, and it certainly will create a lot of unknown factors that I want to make sure I put you at ease, making sure you're comfortable with working with me and the brokerage I'm working for. First, I like to just give you a bit introduction about myself. So I'm Angelina. I've been in sales for 20 years, in real estate for around 8 years. I have investment properties. I also have some tenants, etc. So real estate is something that's not new to, right? So and then over the past few years, I've been named as #1 realtor at Royal LePage Signature. So I'm very proud of that. I have very high successful rates, and our brokerage is a what we call a holistic full service brokerage. Now, what does that mean?
Can I interrupt you? You just
Sure.
working #1 agent, and I'm receiving brochures in my mailbox. Realtor #1, team #1. Like how are you #1 and they are #1? Like what is the difference?
So they could be from different brokerage, or they could be from different companies. We're the Royal LePage Signature, so one of the top brokerage in the province. I would say, if anything, maybe in Canada, we have around 1,800 agents at 3 different locations. And this location where my office is Mississauga, and it's absolutely beautiful. I have this phenomenal manager, VP, Mike Connolly.
Wow.
You have to meet him, but I invite you to come down to join our call, to have a look at our office, grab a coffee. We have a team of designer that can help with video of your house, adding music, adding background, adding caption to it. And that's something I would create it for you. That's my responsibility.
So here's my question. Like, you think the adding videos will add value to my house? You will bring me more money with the
definitely.
videos?
Yes, definitely, because it creates professionalism, right? I don't just take a picture. This picture, I have a kind of like a pamphlet, but that I can show you what your house looks like. I'm going to be handing it out. So basically, I'm going to put together a marketing plan for you.
Yeah, I do understand it. Just the previous guy said like they're not putting video because you don't want to show everything to people, and you want to attract people to the house, and they even offering you to put less pictures on the listing. And you just right now telling me that you want to put a video because you want people to see the house, and like
so what's a different why we different like that, right? So
but down the road, like the most important part for me, commissions. And I've been in real estate. It's not the first time we're selling and buying. Just we made a mistake before, as I told you in the beginning of our conversation meeting. And I'm gonna buy with the agent that I am selling if it's successful. So definitely, like I understand you getting commissions on both ends. So I wanna 1% of like commission cut. Like I wanna
so
cash
well,
back.
I'll certainly answer your question, but can I ask what was the mistake that you have made in the past?
The agents, they just promise so much. They do everything, but at the end, nothing was done the way they promised, and we had to sell at the lower price because we just had to move. And at this time, I want to secure myself, and because I buy and sell, so I want commissions cut on the sell, but I want also commissions on the buy as well.
Right. So you want So first off, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's definitely damaging, and that's something I don't want you to experience again. Owning a home is one of the largest assets that each and every one of us, have the opportunity to buy, right? So first thing is I just want to make sure you're comfortable with my service and my brokerage. I won't let that happen to you. I'll work day and night doing everything in my power to make sure you are at ease and that experience won't happen to you again. And the other thing is I don't know what that agent has done, but I will make sure I'll put together a plan for you and I'll open communication with you throughout the whole process.
Yeah, you're fine.
Sorry, I talk a lot. I talk a lot.
See how much better that got, not the first run through, it's getting more smoother, just after doing 2 role plays of you having now 10 minutes of talking. Imagine what that looks like if you do 60 minutes, 120 minutes of talking this stuff through, because honestly, folks, as I said before, the objections that you're gonna experience are very limited. Like they're not gonna have a lot of things to talk about, especially when you're able to respond to them in a logical, rational, emotional way, right? They're buying on emotion. You're gonna use some logic and rational, but there's mostly emotion. You did some just rock star, I don't know, amazing response. Would you agree? Like that you didn't use in the first one.
I didn't? Oh, okay.
No, you didn't. But you're now more comfortable because you've done it, right? And then some really good stuff came out of you there. Honestly, yeah.
If you want a bit of a statistic to how much you've improved in just these 10 minutes, you went from about 16 ums down to 5. In between your 2 agent speeches. That's how much you've improved in just 2 sessions. So imagine how much you could do it after weeks of this. You'll be down to 0.
100%. You did some very cool stuff there, honestly.
Thank you.
That you did not do in the first one, right?
The gestures were also good.
Pardon me?
The body language and gestures.
The confidence,
Very confident.
right? I think it was good. So well done. All right, flipping it.
I don't want to take you through the whole process in 5 minutes.
Imagine this is at the end of the presentation, right? Like,
Yeah.
we've already done all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Go ahead, 5 minutes.
All right, hi Anna, thank you for coming today.
I will already say hi, but of course, it's the end of the presentation.
All right.
Yes, Joanna, you have any questions?
Yeah, I have lots of questions, you know me, I just full of questions. Yeah, so what do you think of my property so far?
We're at the end already. It's about commissions.
Oh, we are?
Well,
Oh,
yes.
okay, I thought we have to start again.
No,
Okay,
no.
Yeah, so, yeah, just want to make sure, I know you touched base last time we met about the commission. I've done some interview as well, right? I think last time, you said that you weren't going to lower your commission, but, you know, after interview some more, right? And I do a comparison between you and the other agent with very similar services, etc. And want to get going sooner than later. So, and I like you. And yeah, I just want to know, are you going to be able to lower it to 4%?
And Juliet, thank you so much one more time for asking this question again. And I know how important this matter to you. I understand that one of the most important questions that sellers are asking, right? However, we're at the end of our presentations, and this time I prepare you the list of what we're offering and how much the average cost, right?
Yeah.
So if my brokerage and me will provide you with these services, I want you to understand the commissions that you're paying me, it's not going fully to my pocket. It's not my pocketing.
Yeah.
I have to spend some money to market your property, to prepare your property. We have to provide full service to bring the full value out of your property, right? So, and here's my questions to you. Like, what other agent offered you with their commission cut?
Yeah, so the guy that I'm working with, he's pretty much gonna do the same thing, the whole marketing plan, the videos, you know, the Instagram, Facebook, all of that fun stuff. And he's actually willing to cover some of my expenses, and it's like lawyer fees, anything that you touch up painting, he's offering that as well. I know you're from a very good brokerage and you've been in business, you know, for a while, but you know, at the end of the day, money matters to me. I want to be able to keep as much money out of my property as possible. As you,
I totally get it. I totally get it. And you as a lawyer, you have to understand that in any deal, the most important part is negotiation, right?
Mhm.
So if another agent cannot negotiate their value and value for their house, do you think when it will come down to negotiate the offer date or offers that will come on the table, he will be a strong negotiator for you? or he will just ask you to sign whatever will come on your table, right? And moving forward, I know that you want to buy as well, and we need to put everything together in a strong way, even to put a strong offer moving forward on the buy side. So and the whole process, it's not easy. We have to align all the dates, all the moving parts, and make it as easy as possible with your heavy schedule, with your kids and husband. That's my job to take care of that. And I'm unfortunately knowing all of this, I know how important it is to for you to make everything very easy. I cannot cut my commissions because I know how much it takes to bring value to the house. And it takes a little bit more than just.
But if you think about it, I mean, I'm selling this house, right? And then I'm gonna buy something else. If you get this, listing of my property, the chances of me having you as my agent to helping me buy another property, and the chances are the newer property I'm gonna buy is gonna bigger, be more expensive. At the end of the day, even if you lower commission, then you're just still gonna make up on the other deal. Now I'm gonna ask you, do you want one deal or do you want two deals?
It's a great, of course, everybody wants to have two deals. However, I will ask you questions. Do you think every offer people putting on the table are accepted offer? And that's when I come with my strong negotiation skills. The offer that you will present, that we will prepare on your buy side, it's not coming off nowhere. I still have my fiduciary duty to you and to legal duty with my brokerage to you to present everything in legal manner. Everything has to be right to protect you as a buyer in the transaction as well.
5. That's it. Wow. Better than your first run through, and both of you were great in your first run. That's why you're sitting here. But I thought you did way better this time through. You weren't doing the confrontational as much as the first time, like we always do. We always kind of refer back to that, like they're attacking me, and I got to attack them back, and so you guys shifted away. You did some jujitsu and that, which was great. No, it was fantastic. And again, I'd say you're getting better, right? And we all get better when we rehearse and practice these types of things. And better to do it now when there's actually no money at stake. There's not two deals. Like you hit her with, oh, there's two deals. You want two deals? Like so there is no two deals. There's not one deal at stake. Let's do it now. Let's make maybe mistakes. We learn from that and say, you know what? I regret saying that. I'm not going to say that again. And next time I'm in that situation, I'm not going to say it. It's not going to come out of my mouth. And the only time you find that out is doing stuff like this with each other, right? Come on in, set yourselves up with appointments, go to our closing rooms, close the door, work with each other, practice and challenge each other, be hard and tough with each other. I think you guys did fantastic, right? And I'm not even gonna go, who's better? I'm just saying you're both amazing and then we'll get a book, okay?
Yeah, get a second one, boom.
Yeah.
Never split the difference. That's what I want.
They've been waiting for the commission talk till, like, do you have any questions? Wouldn't it be better for us to address them in our?
You can, sure. You can
Directly.
listen, I know you've been waiting to ask that very important question. Again, tonality delivery. What's my fee? And actually what it is, Jason, it's what's the investment that you're gonna make in getting your home sold is what my fee is. All right? This isn't an investment, Jason. You wanna make the right investment, don't you? Because I've built up already the value. These are dialogues you're gonna learn along the way that you're gonna be able to hit with people, right? Listen, Jason, I wouldn't be treating you as best as I could treat you if I gave away my fee, because I'm giving away the services that I don't know right now. I'll be honest with you, Jason, I don't know on that litany of the deluxe services or the premium services that I'm offering. I don't know which one of those services is gonna get your home sold. But I know the bundle of all that services, one of those things or a combination of those things are gonna get your home sold. So I don't wanna start taking away those services right now for fear of not getting the job done. Because I sell 98% of the homes I list, the market's only selling 40%. Like you gotta be so confident, you gotta be ready to hit them with that, right? They're emotional, they're taking, hey, listen to, hey, Jason, I know, everybody asks for a discount. I do too. Like, There's nothing wrong with you asking that question. But here's why I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good strategy for you. I don't think that's a good investment of your time putting the property in the market with me to have a positive, have a negative outcome. I want to have a positive outcome. Again, dialogue. I had like 7 or 8 dialogue responses. The average realtor has 1. No, I don't. That's not jujitsu. No, I don't. I mean, there are trainers that teach that as the first thing. No. Any other questions? That's a training question that's given by some people. Don't you think that's a little bit insulting? I do. Right? Mike, do you cut your commission? No, I don't. Do you have any other questions? Like, that's pretty ignorant, I think. But I know trainers that teach that even to this day. Okay? I thought this was a great course. I'm sorry, I promised you it is actually, wow. That's their fault. It's their fault. It took too long. I was done before. So this was great. Give them a round of applause. They were next week. Of course, next week. I forget what my course is. Negotiations. So I got a little short video we're going to show you, and then we're going to teach you about negotiations, which is going to be a setup to the case study with me and Emilio teaching you some case study stuff, and possibly him and I will do a role play for you. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
You and Emilio, that's
Awesome.
like
Awesome.
something match I don't want to miss.
Awesome.